Hello, everybody. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our Global Innovation Conference, Hack Osaka 2018. How exciting. I'm Diane Kichijitsu, and I am a performer of rakugo, which is traditional Japanese storytelling. And I'll be your host for today's event. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is actually the 6th Hack Osaka. And it just gets bigger and better every year. And one thing I have noticed is that the audience is also getting more and more good-looking every year. So last year I thought, well, it can't get any better looking than this. But here we are. I'm just looking out at a sea of beautiful people. Wonderful smiles. Everybody's excited about the conference. Can I ask how many of you have been to Hack Osaka before? Oh, a few of you, okay. And I assume the rest of you are here for the first time. How many first-timers? Okay. How many of you just can't be bothered to put your hand up? A few, maybe. So for those of you who've been here before, welcome back. And for the new faces, welcome. We have a great day ahead of us. We have some sessions going on here on the main stage, and we also have some programs next door in the communication arena. So make sure that you pop in there to see what's going on. Make sure you don't miss anything. You can get some coffee, do a little bit of networking. So we're going to have a great day. So we'd like to start off today's event with an opening address by Michiteru Kashiwagi-san, who is the Director General of the Economic Strategy Bureau of Osaka City Government. So let's make him feel very, very welcome. Mr. Kashiwagi, onegaishimasu.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed. And Diane-san, thank you very much. Your name is very, very lucky name, so thank you very much. And today, okay, so in the first place, please let me introduce myself. I am General Director of Osaka City Economic Bureaus. I deal with many businesses, but as you understand, so I deal with the invitation of our host city of G20 and World Expo 2025 also. So that's why now we are a historic moment we can share together with you, especially in 2018. And today, I would like to express my deep gratitude to you all participants here, from university students and from abroad, all over the world, and from every cities in Japan. And now, I would like to express my gratitude. Instead of this message, short story I would like to introduce you. Of course, this is a very important point. When you are a child, maybe your mother and your father told me many times, Aesop fable, Aesop monogatari, Aesop fable. A small fox, maybe you know, a small fox is walking down from the center of the forest to the village. And on the path, he found vine tree, budou no ki, and tried to get the grapes because he can see the sweet, maybe sweet grapes. And he jumped and tried, but he couldn't. And he left vine tree to the forest, saying, it must be sour. That is a very important point, because he can't get the grape. And he said, it must be sour. 酸っぱいぶどうだと, he said. And that's why, if he can get, it must be maybe sweet. So in front of us, many fruits, many chances, many opportunities. And can we change these opportunities, sweet grapes or not, or just sour grapes or not? Everything depends on you. So that's why, together with you, we would like to change our all opportunities around us into sweet grapes. And private sector, and at the same time, as we have now as a business in public sector. Also, public sector also tried many challenges in 2025 World Expo. That is also the biggest challenge, not only in Osaka, but also all over Japan, and at the same time, all over countries around the world. So that's why we would like to change opportunities, not sour, sweet grapes. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you, Mr. Kashiwagi. One more time, a nice round of applause. Thank you. Wonderful. So as I said, this is the 6th Hack Osaka. And over the past 6 years, we've been making communications globally. So today, we're very excited to have a signing ceremony to welcome a new member, LeaguerX. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Kashiwagi back onto the stage, please. Sorry. And also Mr. Shan Lu, Mr. Shan Lu from Shenzhen, China. Okay, who has become a new partner, so thank you. Thank you both very much. A special moment in time. Congratulations. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful. Making friends globally. Fantastic. So now we'd like to start with the first session with Mr. Kentaro Suda, who is the founder of FREEPLUS. And today he's going to share his story about how he founded FREEPLUS, which is involved in Japan's inbound travel business. So we're almost ready for the stage. Thank you. Wonderful. So let's welcome Mr. Kentaro Suda onto the stage. Let's give him a nice warm welcome. Thank you. Fantastic.
I'm the founder and CEO of FREEPLUS Incorporated, Kentaro Suda. FREEPLUS is a travel agency specializing in inbound travel to Japan. Currently, we have partnerships with 700 travel agencies in 31 countries and have handled more than 350,000 tourists coming to Japan. Last April, we opened the hotel for foreign tourists, FP Hotels in Osaka. Furthermore, we decided on construction of 3 new hotels in Osaka and Fukuoka and Hokkaido. We are continuing to expand into the business-related inbound travel. Last month, we invested in an international charter flight agency and a company which produces VR services. Our revenue was approximately $40 million last year. FREEPLUS is currently made up of 150 members who come from 12 different countries. And the average age in our office, only 27. So in other words, we are exactly suited for Hack Osaka's Global Challenges talk. Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be here. Today, I'm gonna present 3 stories about my challenge. The first was challenges born from setting goals. I was born in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia in 1985. My mother is Chinese Malaysian and my father is Japanese. When I was a child, I didn't have any grand dreams and I really hated studying. Of course, I didn't have any particular ambitions to become an entrepreneur, as my father, just an office worker. But one day, something happened that changed my life. It was a coming of age ceremony when I was 20. I got great time with my friends at the party, and in the bed that night, I thought to myself, when is the next time I'll have this much fun? At that moment, I realized I'll never have another coming of age ceremony. Then I thought to myself, I only get one this ceremony. I only turned 20 years old, 21, 23, and 24 once. I will only live once. So what comes after that? I realized in about 60 years, I'd be dead. Considering that one day I'd be dead and gone from this world, I got really scared. But I couldn't figure out why I was alive. I didn't know my reason for living, but I thought I wouldn't want to die just one of 6 billion people. If I'm alive anyway, I want to achieve something at the world level. So I decided to make a company that would make a lasting impact. I want to make a company that make people happy and could influence the world even after I eventually died. Then I decided to devote my life to making a world-class company. In this way, my challenges started since I set the goal. The second story, challenge and criticism come as a set. Once I decided to make a world-class company, I changed everything in my life. First of all, I set a milestone to start my business by the age of 26. From there, all of my day-to-day decisions were made in order to achieve that goal. I quit working at McDonald's, where I'd been part-time for 5 years. I started coupon business for the mobile phone and made a website. While doing that, I began thinking, is there any point in going to university? I'll be a president of a world-class company, so my academic background won't matter. Then I decided to drop out of university. I got dropout notification, and I went home. My father was watching TV in the living room when I got home. And I told him, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna drop out of university because I decided to start my business by the age of 26. So I wanna start working as soon as possible. Please stamp this form for me." And my father said, "Kentaro, please go through one more year of university. For my sake, just one more year. Once you graduate, you can do anything you want." But I told him, "I'm not living for you." Then I stamped by myself and submitted it the next day. My teachers and classmates also objected, but I didn't listen. And I got a job at a venture company dispatching IT engineers and worked really, really hard. After 1 year, I decided to start my business in that field, although it was not the business I wanted to be in. I figured out what business I wanted to be in after I started my company. Of course, my boss and colleagues told me, "You don't have enough experience to start your own business." However, I didn't care. And I went to speak to my father again. He was watching TV in the living room. I told him, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna quit my job. I already have $30,000 saved. I can do it if it's the same work as this company." My father said, "What? Kentaro, it's only been a year since you started working there." No. You don't worry about that. I was just letting you know. I decide my own future. Then, FREEPLUS Incorporated was born in 2007 when I was 22 years old. The role is like a big river. If you go against the flow of the river, it will try to knock you down. I'd like to say to people who challenge themselves, challenge and criticism come as a set. So even if people criticize your choices, you can lend your ear to criticism, but you don't have to bend in your beliefs. I'll say it again. Challenge and criticism come as a set. Third story. Our main businesses at that time were dispatching IT engineers and SEO business, although were hit by the 2008 financial crisis and about to go bankrupt. But we overcame from that crisis. Our company stabilized in 2010. That's when I began looking for a new business I wanted to devote my life to again. Our criteria for the new business couldn't just be big. We had two criteria. The first was, it make people happy with our services, because I've liked seeing happy people, and even just imagining our services making someone smile, I felt happy as well. The second was, could begin global expansion immediately because I want to make a company that could influence the world. Startups in Osaka often go to Tokyo once they have their footing. But I figured there's no reason to go to Tokyo because we're gonna be a global company. I was looking for a new business with these 2 points. That's when I heard this news. Japan's GDP will be overturned by China next year. I was surprised and I felt sorry. I always thought Japan was a small country, but it had been the second largest economy in the world since I was a child. And it wasn't only Japan's GDP. Japan's share of world home electronics market had been taken over by Korea and Taiwan. I was quite frustrated. I wondered if there was anything I could do for Japan as a Japanese person. That I thought, I am an entrepreneur. So let's do something that energizes Japan. I didn't think I want to do it. I thought I have to do it. Then we added the third criteria to other two. It's the business, re-energize Japan. And I came across the inbound tourism industry. I decided to contribute to world peace by enriching Japan with tourism and growing Japan's fan base. First of all, we decided to enter from the inbound travel business in China, so we established a branch in Shanghai. But I didn't have any experience in that business, so I called a friend working for a travel agency. Hey, hello, I wanna start an inbound travel business. Do you think, what should I do first? My friend said, oh, if you don't have any experience, it's very difficult to start it. I think you should work in travel agency first. Okay, all right. And I also talked to my senior in business, but the results were similar. Everyone becomes critical when it's something they've never done before. So everyone around me was telling me it'll be better to just give up. But I couldn't do it because I never done it. I thought I wouldn't be able to do it until I done it. It's vital to do unprecedented things. Failure is the key to success. Every mistake teaches a valuable lesson. By the way, do you want to know what was the first thing I did when I started an inbound travel business? I was searching for a travel agency in Shanghai on the internet and just made a phone call. That's it. 7 years have passed since then, and now we have with over 3,300 travel agencies around the world. If you have never done it, you should try. Even small things can be the first step. Anyway, that's my 3 stories. The first was challenges born from setting goals. My challenges started since I set the goal. The second was challenge and criticism come as a set. You can lend your ear to criticism, but you don't have to bend in your beliefs. The third was the only reason you cannot do it is because you haven't done it before. Finally, I believe that a new challenge will be born from all of you. And this role will be better for it. I believe that a new challenge will be born from all of you. And this role will be better for it. That's all. Thank you very much. And ありがとうございました。
So thank you very much to Kentaro for a very passionate speech about the challenges in business. Don't be afraid to face your fears. Challenges. I actually thought he was going to tell his story in Rakugo style when he started with the telephone. Hello, hello. We're ready for a Rakugo story. So this brings us to our keynote speaker. So I'd like to introduce Miss Tiantian Zhang, who is the co-founder of Vigo Technologies. And she's going to tell us how she became one of the most promising young entrepreneurs in China. So let's make her feel very welcome on the stage. Chen Chen, please. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Tiantian. Actually, I'm super excited to be here today. It's my first time to Japan and to Osaka. Thanks to Hack Osaka for inviting me here to share my journey as a female entrepreneur to build a startup company. So the topic I want to share today is about how to build the company and build it right. I think. Can we start from the beginning, not the video? The keynote is not right. The slides is not right.
Smart.
Anyway, so we got a little bit tech issue with the slides. But before we start, I want to talk about a little bit about my personal background. So I grew up in China. I'm Chinese. And then I went to college in Beijing. So what I studied in college is called New Media Digital Design. And after I finished my 4-year study in college, I want to see the bigger world. So I choose to study in the United States. I went to University of Pennsylvania, and the program I did is called Integrated Product Design. So what I studied in school by then is I went to business school, engineering school, and design school. So I learned how to find customers' needs and how to satisfy their aesthetic needs. And also from engineering perspective, how can I make this product to work? After I took those classes, I started to wonder, can I create something new to the world? So I started my first project when I was still students at Penn. It's a student talk show called Three Fellows. So that was 5 years ago. And the main media people read still those newspapers, and all the articles were wrote by professional journalists. And we wondered, as students ourselves, how can we tell people in China the real overseas students' life? That's why we started this talk show. we choose some really interesting topic like, does it worth a parent to spend so much money to send your kids to private school in US? Or is it easy to find a job after you graduate in universities in US? At beginning, it didn't go really well, but then we tried to learn how to make the talk show better. So our views starting from 1,000 all the way up to 40 million views after we worked on it for 2 years. And I even got some invitation for some top TV shows in China because of 3 fellows. So after working on this for 2 years, I started to think, I'm going to graduate from school now, and what I can do based on what I learned, what I've done in school to make the world a different place. That's how I started my first company and launched my first product, Vigo. So after I graduated from Penn in Philadelphia, I chose to move to Silicon Valley, the heart of innovation. And I built this very first product in my life. It's called Vigo headset. So the inspiration of Vigo hat started from class because sometimes we couldn't resist to fall asleep at boring engineering class. I believe some of you may have the same experience. So we were thinking, can we invent something new to keep us awake during class? So that's why we built this headset. This headset can detect your eye blinks and to tell you if you're about to fall asleep. And if you fall asleep, it will sound an alarm to wake you up. And then we realized actually it works better for professional drivers, like truck drivers or train operators, because some of them need to drive up to 11 hours every day in the United States. So it will be really meaningful and helpful for them to keep them awake all the time. So we joined a hardware incubator and then spent us 2 years from concept to ship this product to over 40 countries in the world. And also we run some pilot testing with the world's top fleet companies like, so there's a FedEx, and you can see that's their trucks. And also the one on the top, on the right is a world's biggest mining company called Peabody Energy. And you can tell like their wheels is even much taller than us. Each of these wheels worth over $100,000. So this company really wants to improve the safety of their drivers. So we spent a couple months in Nevada, worked with these companies. Meanwhile, we also got a really good, we also finished a really successful angel round from top VCs from US and China. By then, it seems everything went really well, but actually it wasn't. So here I want to talk about some difficulties we actually faced by then. First, because it was a B2B business, me and my co-founder, both of us were just fresh college graduate kids. We don't have over 20 years experience in fleet industry. And also because if we want to get contract with those big fleet companies, that means we need to run a couple more rounds of pilot testing. And we only raised 1 angel round. Those money won't last long enough to finish all those pilot testing. And meanwhile, it's a product that works best for professional drivers, and that's a little bit far away from what we originally started the idea. So there are 2 options. Meanwhile, the company was running short on cash, and investors were a little bit hesitant to continue investing on us. So we were facing 2 options. First is we keep working on it, and the company will be shut down in half years. Maybe there will be a miracle happen, that one day an investor working and give us a $5 million check. And or we make a change and we challenge ourselves to do something different based on what we learned in the past 2 years. But this one is also very scary. That means we're going to face a whole new blank paper. We've worked on Vigo for over 2 years. We got some corporate clients, we got angel investors investment, we got some media coverage. If we decided to pivot by then, that means we need to give up everything we got in the past 2 years. So here I want to talk about the importance of having a female co-founder in your team. There are a few things at that very, very special moment in our company's history that I suggested and believe it makes a big difference for our company. So first, I told my co-founder, we need to pivot, we need to change. I think a lot of you here already running a company, or you're thinking about running a company to launch your own product. As a founder of a company, you probably will be the last one on earth that are willing to give up your product. It's like your own kids. You will be the last one that lose hope of your own kids. But sometimes it's not like giving up your kids. It's to help your kids how to grow better, or help your kids to find a new direction to keep marching. So you need to be really brave to face the truth. And also you need to ask your own really honest question. What is working and what isn't? If you find the true issue, you know how to make it better. And also, in a moment like this, you need to be really, really direct. Some people may try to pretend there's no big issue, everything will be okay. We just need to keep working on it, never give up, things will be fine till the day they fail. But you need to talk to your team, your founders, that there's something not going right and we need to fix it. And then I asked my co-founder to help me to build the right team to launch the next product I want to build. It's called View. So as you can see, I'm wearing glasses. Glasses is a very important thing in my daily life. I need to wear it every day. And I noticed in the past couple years, all the glasses that were launched to the market were not designed for people like me who wear glasses every day. So for example, Google Glass or Oculus Rift, they're very expensive. Google Glass were sold for $1,500, and they are very heavy. I can't wear it every day. So I was thinking, can I make something different? So that's what we built.
Smart glasses. You can spot them a mile away. They look geeky, uncomfortable, and distracting. And having a camera stuck to your face, it's kind of creepy. Introducing View, the world's first pair of smart glasses that match your lifestyle and your look.
So we launched the View. Actually, I'm wearing it now. Can you tell the difference between a smart glasses and normal glasses? I guess you probably can't. So he's also wearing View. What View can do, first, we built 2 bone conduction pieces inside the glasses arm. That means you can pick up phone calls or listen to music by wearing the glasses itself. You don't need to wear additional headset or earbuds into your ear to listen all those audios. And also, we built an accelerometer inside the glasses. It can track all the steps you've taken every day or the calories you burn every day. What's more important is that you can install all type of prescription lenses into the frames, or you can put polarized lenses to the frame. And also, it weighs similar to normal glasses. It won't weigh you down. And once we launched these glasses, we got the world's top media coverage soon. And after we built these glasses, we were thinking maybe we can launch to a new different platform to see what does all the customer think about the glasses. So we decided to launch on Kickstarter. So here a quick question for you. How many of you have heard about Kickstarter? Please raise your hand. Oh wow, quite a lot. I'm very impressive. Yeah. So for those who never heard about Kickstarter, it's the world's biggest crowdfunding platform. So if you have an idea, or if you want to build your own product, you can create a video and write some description, post them on Kickstarter platform, and then if there are enough people like the idea, they will donate money or pre-order your product to help you to make your product become true. So we decided to launch our own Kickstarter campaign. And here are a few things we did before we launched. First, we realized it's very important to let more people know about the product. So before we launched the campaign for about months, we started to run some Facebook ads to collect people's email to make sure once we launch, they will get the notification that this project is live. And also, we spent about a month to polish the script for the video. We want to make sure people can understand the product clearly after they're watching the video. Meanwhile, we spent thousands of, not thousands of hours, but hundreds of hours to search journalists' contact info, send them thousands of emails, but only got a few responses. Still, that was really helpful. We got some of the top media coverage before we launch. And once we launched the campaign, we keep doing more Facebook ads, and also we started to run our social media platform, make sure we got a lot of likes on our Facebook ads and Instagram followers. And what's more important, we worked really hard on our customer service. We want to make sure every time when someone sends us a question, we can give them an answer instantly. So what happened after we did all this work and we launched our Kickstarter campaign? Before we launched our Kickstarter campaign, we only put $30,000 US as a product's initial budget. And in 45 days for our Kickstarter campaign, we raised 2.2 million USD for our glasses and make us the highest eyewear crowdfunding project on Kickstarter. And within a year, before we ship, just for the pre-order, we sold for 3.5 million US for the glasses. And what's more, our glasses won a couple important awards, for example, CES Innovation Awards and German Design, and also I was listed as Forbes 30 and 30 last year. So here are a couple key lessons I'd like to share based on my previous experience and hope it will be helpful for you in the future. So I believe before people start a company, people always tell you it's very, very important as an entrepreneur, you never give up. I totally agree that you should never give up on being an entrepreneur, but if you're building a company or building a product, it is very important for you to know when to change, because you can't launch a perfect product or find a perfect idea at the beginning. It's very important for you to know when to change. And also, you always need to learn from the mistake you've taken or something you've done wrong. And you need to truly face all those mistakes and the wrong things you've done. Then you know how can you improve yourself and become a better you. Last but not least, I always have a lot of friends or people come to ask me, hey, I have this idea. I want to build this product, but I'm so nervous that what if someone just copied my idea and I can't raise money, I can't get PR, so they just copy my idea and I'll fail. Don't worry, the world is so big. There are billions of people in the world. Has to have someone that think about the same things as you are at this moment. So what you really need to do is work really hard on it and make sure you execute your idea really well. That's how you win the competition, not by just sitting there worrying that people will copy your idea. So here are some things I'd like to share with you all today, and this is my email. If you'd like to ask me some more questions or want to know more about our product, feel free to send me email. Thank you all so much today, and hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tiantian. Wonderful speech, thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to a little break. We're going to take a short break, so please be back here at 2:30. We'll be starting our next session at 2:30. And can we ask for safety? Would you please take all your belongings with you? Don't leave anything in the room. And if you are going to leave this floor, please give your translation headsets to a member of the staff if you're going to leave this floor. We have next door in the communications arena, we have some sessions going on and some programs. And also, here in the sub-arena, we have the Monotsukuri Hardware Cup pitch contest, which is on until 3 o'clock, so take a look at that as well. And the award ceremony will take place here this afternoon, later on, so have a look at that as well. So have a nice break and come back nice and refreshed. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Did you have a nice break? Yes? Yes, okay, thank you. Some people are here. Wonderful. And I hope you got some coffee. And I hope you had time to do a little bit of networking, meet some new people, exchange some business cards. So this brings us to the panel discussion. So I'm going to ask Tim Romero to moderate our panel discussion. So let's make Tim very welcome. And all of our panelists, let's give them a nice round of applause as they come onto the stage. Thank you. Okay, have fun.
We've got a pretty big panel up here today. So I'd like to introduce myself very briefly and then introduce the rest of the panel and then get right to it. My name's Tim Romero. I've been in Japan about 25 years. In that time, I've started a number of companies, sold a couple, bankrupted a couple, 50-50. That's not too bad as far as startups go. I now teach corporate innovation at NYU. I write on innovation in Japan for Forbes, and I work with TEPCO on their business innovation task force, helping them to bring new technologies to Japan. And I also run a podcast called Disrupting Japan, where we interview Japanese startup founders in English and sort of introduce them to the rest of the world and try to let people know what's really going on in innovation in Japan. So I'd like to introduce the rest of the panel. Starting on my far left, Mr. Oko Davaasuren, Regional Director of Techstars Asia. Now, Oko is an active founder. He's a community builder. He's co-founded and he helps run several startups throughout Asia. And he received a bachelor's degree in finance from Portland State University, then a master's in engineering technology. But after that, he returned to Mongolia, where he received his MBA, and he is leading the charge of innovation and startups there. And so I have no doubt we can learn a great deal from him here. Sitting next to him is Mr. Oscar Kneppers, founder of Rockstart. And Oscar's been a successful serial entrepreneur for quite some time, starting out in internet publishing and launching several cross-media brands from way back in 1998. And always focusing on new media, innovation, and technology. And after selling his first media business, he founded Rockstart in the Netherlands in 2011. And Rockstart has been one of the most influential accelerators in all of Europe. And I'm glad you could join us again here today, Oscar. Next is Mr. Gidi Schmerling, Director of the Media Relations for Tel Aviv Municipality. And he also heads the Digitel project. And thanks to that project, Tel Aviv was nominated for the smartest city in the world at the Smart City Expo, the World Congress in Barcelona. Gidi is also in charge of the Tel Aviv media arts field in UNESCO's Creative Cities Network. And in his copious free time, he's also the director of Tel Aviv Global and Tourism. Next to him is Mr. Shan Lu, who's the founding partner and CEO at LeaguerX. Now, LeaguerX is a cross-border technology acceleration and investment platform that was developed by the Research Institute of Tsinghua University in Shenzhen and the Leaguer Group. And the Leaguer Group is one of the biggest venture capital firms in China. Now, prior to founding LeaguerX, Sean managed the investment banking division at UPEX, the best performing technology asset trading marketplace in China, and he founded Startup Salad, which is the most active community in China. So I think he's going to have a lot to contribute when we're talking about how to build a startup community from scratch or from the middle. And lastly, a man who needs no introduction because he's been introduced several times already. But I'm going to do it anyway. Masaki Yoshikawa, he's the director of the Osaka city government. Now, Masaki is the head of the Osaka Innovation Hub. I'm sure most of you already know that. And the Osaka city government launched this as a networking platform, a startup central for the city of Osaka to lead innovation. And it really has been the center of Osaka innovation since it launched then. They've held over 200 innovation-related events, including the one we're all in right now, and other hackathons, pitch contests, many others, and over 12,000 people have participated in these events. So before we get started, I just want to give a big hand to our panel today. Okay, we're going to be talking about building startup communities, building ecosystems. And before we do this, Oscar, let me just start with you. When you talk about a startup ecosystem, what is it? What does it mean? And why is it something we should care about?
I guess that if you enter a startup community that is working, you don't even notice. It's so well glued together. It doesn't feel like it took any care in doing it. And I guess that the main thing, the main glue is the peer-to-peer coaching, I guess, that people are able and willing to help each other. And for the rest, it's a little bit of money and community events. It is mentoring. It's all that, and access to capital as well. But a startup community is where things thrive very naturally. And we always, when we are discussing startup communities, we've been around for 8 years, and we're considered one of the older ones. And I guess that looking back for like 6 to 8 years, we just are all getting started. And being in a place where you feel there's a place for you as a startup and to take risk and to try stuff and to include other people in that process, that's where I guess my definition of a startup community is. You know.
Okay. Sean, you've started several different communities. What do you think is, why are they important? Or I should say, why do founders think startup community is important? What's important for them?
For me, I think the most important thing for building a community is still the people who is building the communities, who is, I think, the right people with the right passion, and they would like to stick together and create something together. And the things that they create will benefit all the other people who join the communities. I think that's the most important factor to build up communities. Again, like for how a community can support the ecosystem. First of all, I am a true believer in communities builders. And then I think if the right people getting together, from different backgrounds, contributing different resources, can create something very important and something very big. And these things will be able to help rather the startups or the large corporation and even the governments to come up with new ideas and to make something happen. That is very important.
Oko, you've been involved in startup communities in Asia, in the US. You travel a great deal. What do you think really defines a startup community, and why are they important? Why are we talking about this today?
So all of us, driven by economic incentive, we see that startups and small businesses can be the driving force behind economic growth, right? So every municipal or city or country out there is trying to build that environment to be healthy, to be, like Oscar said, thriving for these individuals to come in and experiment and build these great ventures, right? So what we see is, again, I will follow what we call Boulder thesis. Oftentimes these are communities that are grassroots movement. It's driven by entrepreneurs that come in and help each other and end up creating this beautiful ecosystem where the government participates, the corporations participate, the educational institutions participate, right? And all of it together makes what we call this startup ecosystem. And we see that, great ecosystems really are a launch pad for the next generation of companies that can have huge impact in the society and on the economy.
Now that seems highly aspirational. That seems like that's the end goal. How many times have you seen places build up startup ecosystems like that from scratch?
Surprisingly, a lot. And I think the acceleration of these new communities are happening so much right now, right? We used to only talk about Silicon Valley or London, and now we have Tel Aviv, we have Berlin that's coming up as the next hub in Europe, Southeast Asia, every country you can think of, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, right? Even Japan, we have almost 100 startup weekends happening in Japan, just from Techstars' perspective. So you'd be surprised now how many hubs there are, how many communities there are. They're not the same, but they're everywhere, and they're coming.
Okay. Gidi, coming at it from the more of the government side, when you're talking about the importance of startup communities and the resources that you're pouring into them, what is your objective? What do you see as the importance of startup communities?
There are people who think that those young entrepreneurs, they have their laptop and actually doesn't matter wherever they will be, but it's not true. They are looking mostly for what you mentioned before, the sense of community. It's really important for them. In Tel Aviv, we are a really small city, less than 500,000, and we have in the city 1,500 startups. We are the third after the Silicon Valley, London, and then Tel Aviv. But when we do like a lot of roundtable with those startups, they want us to help them to create this kind of openness and communities. So what we are trying to do, it's not only to give them, tax reduce and so on, but to give them the community, like in hackathon, in conference, in the places. We give them a lot of free of charge places. I saw here, by the way, the lab. This is also the same idea. We took, for example, the library in the city, and we changed it to a place that they can walk free of charge. And all this together can create this kind of mix, which make this feel of community.
Well, Masaki, you and I have talked about this before. So you've been focused on building a startup community here in Osaka for the last several years. So what kind of startup community do you want to see built here? And why is it important to Osaka to have a startup community?
Thank you. The startup community sounds, really one of the community focusing on just startups. But from the government viewpoint, we would like to build a networking infrastructure rather than creating startups. So you're asking what kind of startups we would like to have in the community, but we would like to have the startups who wants to add value to the society. So the entrepreneur, our definition, is a producer combining the elements in the city. So entrepreneurs can be in startups as well as in major corporation as well. So entrepreneurship is very important. So there is a fact that we have a lot of talents and resources, but staying still in the silos. So that's why we need to break in the silo by giving the opportunities for all players in an ecosystem work together to break in the silo, to interact, to create the new values. So I don't care about the kinds of the startups. So Kentaro, FREEPLUS, is one of the role models leading the innovation in the inbound tourism. So I would like to have him to show more influence on the followers. That's mine.
Allow me to. Yeah, I understand we have plenty of time, so I would like to elaborate a little bit more. I think I would like to share the stories about building startup sellers as startup communities. I think back 4 years ago when we started, there were only 3 of us. We decided to organize some smaller events, gatherings, so people can learn how to start companies. And until now, we are now in over 60 startup seller is now in over 60 cities, organizing 120, 140 events per year. And then now, after all the calculation, we realized that we have over 2,000 startup projects started in our events, in our hackathons. And those 2,000 projects end up to be 200 startup companies. And a year and a half later, or 2 years later, now I think we incubated over 200 companies. And the 200 companies, after a certain period of time, most companies just die. It's a natural circle. But still, now we still have about 20 companies are doing quite well recently. And one of our most successful company is called FaceU. The 3 founders met in one of our very first hackathons. They started the companies about 3.5 years ago. And 1 week ago, they sold the companies for $300 million to one of the largest unicorn in China. It's a very successful startup companies that we witness and also we help in the past years.
I think you bring up a really good point. And I was going to say, my opinion on, as a founder, my opinion on startup communities has really changed over the last 10 years. So my opinion used to be, give me access to customers and give me access to capital and I'll do the rest. That's all I need. But as the startup community kind of grew up around me in Tokyo over the last 10 or 15 years, I realized that there's tremendous value in being able to discuss ideas with other founders, to learn from other people's experiences. It really, having a community of like-minded entrepreneurs makes everybody better. It raises everybody's game.
Yeah, can I say something? I love the fact that Techstars now adopted Startup Weekend a couple of years ago. I guess that many of the people I know that work in the industry, something like even investing or other ways of contributing to the startup system, are born somewhere in one of the many startup weekends. And I haven't experienced the startup seller yet, but I guess it's the same thing. It's like a place where you can tinker and think and show your vulnerability and toy an idea. And I guess it's one of the reasons that the company that I founded is called Rockstart, was that we thought startups are the rock bands in business. And people want to play in rock bands after they've seen other people play on stage and they think, I could do that too, I can be there too. But then you have to have a place where you can do that and try it. Instead of, if you need customers and money, and it's because we're in this funding hype at this moment. It's not a startup hype, it's a funding hype. Like everyone's so focused on funding, and it is about this one first step you have to take. You just do that by bumping into someone you like and you discuss an idea and say, hey, let's try and build this, see if it works. And if we can sell it to 2 people, we might sell it to 2 billion. But it's never about the last part, it's about the first part. And then you build a system where it's an ecosystem or an awareness where it's okay to try and fail and try and fail and try and fail until it just works. And it's chaos until it works. And I guess that's the feeling that you want to have. And that it doesn't surprise me that it takes off so fast, because you need to have 2,000 companies in order to find 200 that you're willing to invest in and to do doing these bigger exits.
Well, in building all of these startup communities in different places around the world, I'm sure looking back, it has not been completely smooth. So let me ask you, Oscar, what was the biggest surprise you had when you were building your ecosystem? What didn't go the way you thought it was going to be?
Well, the funny thing, one thing is recent. So we've always been in the city of Amsterdam, in the city center of Amsterdam. So we've moved from 24 square meters to 3,000 in the heart of the city. And I always said we need to be in the city center where you can feel the heartbeat of the economy of the city, and where people just drive past or cycle past and say, hey, this company was born in this building, something like that. The magic thing that happens when people... So I grew up close to Eindhoven where Philips was based, and I knew this place called the laboratories of Philips. And I always said to my friends, you know, the cassette that we used was invented in this place, in this secretive area, and we always pointed at that building. And you want that to happen in the cities, not outside of the city, but in the cities. And what I found recently is that we moved out of the city of Amsterdam, out of the heart of the city, because we couldn't find space that was still affordable, and it was too close. So we moved to it's still close, but it's next to the harbor in the city of Amsterdam. And we saw about 40% of the people moving with us, but a large chunk of people not moving with us. So we figured we're not we might have a startup community, but we're not a co-working space. We have like 6 WeWorks opening up in Amsterdam. And Amsterdam is a small city, mind you. It's like 700,000 people. It's really small. So we figured we're not in the co-working environment. We're in the supporting entrepreneur space, which is different. So I felt that what changed is that you get the real entrepreneurs move with you, and the others, like, they move to all the other space. That was one of the biggest surprises. And the other thing is that...
So just to be clear, you were surprised, you thought they would stay in the same place, and you were surprised they moved, or the other way?
I just assumed that if we would move, 99% would move with us. And it was just like 2 or 3 kilometers. It's like nothing. And it didn't. And so that was a good thing, because it's the assumption. And we always repeat the mantra. So it's the assumption. It's just an assumption. And we had to find that out for ourselves.
Did they stay involved with the community even after you moved?
Yes, they did, and if you have events, they will be coming back to the events. But if they're not in a fixed space, it's hard to have these little circles that, like family circles do, that build. So we have to do new stuff and new things. Yeah.
Sean, what about you?
My surprise, right?
Yeah. What was your biggest surprise?
I always like to share this story of myself. Of my own. And then again, also 4 years ago when we started Startup Salad, one of the team that joined our event, hackathon event, and created this company does the outbound travel agency service platforms. And at that time, like, we also, during the event, we invite some of the top VC investors to join the event, and also some of the experienced entrepreneurs to join the event. And everybody at that time, when we first met with the team and the crazy ideas, nobody believed in them. everybody just say it doesn't work, it will never work, we are not going to invest in you, and you should change your business model to that direction. That was the conversation we had like 4 years ago. And also earlier, actually the end of last year, about November, this company raised 120 million US dollar. And then it's on its way to become a unicorn in Asia. So that would be my biggest surprise. And I have to say, like, nowadays when even like, I just became an investor myself. I realized that no matter how much experience I have, it's difficult for me to just judge a company or on its business model, whether it's going to work or not. I don't believe in that. So I think the best way to do it is just wait and see what these people can create.
It really is hard to know whether you're looking at a bad idea or if you're looking at a good idea that you just don't understand.
One of the things I like is that people think of a startup as a small company as opposed to a large company. Many people as opposed to a few people. But it's, I think I told you this before, but a startup is just a small experiment with people involved taking big risks in order to find a sustainable business model. And that's it. It's a small experiment in which you take big risks. And it's not just a small company that needs to be big and big and big. It's just this tinkering, this stage, at least in a community sense, what we're talking about now, is that you have a place where you can do that. And it might turn out really big. And the good thing about Chinese markets is you have volume. That's one thing that we're jealous of, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Oko, what surprised you?
So going back to your question, I think I was really fortunate to be able to build community in Mongolia and Malaysia, Singapore, partly through Techstars in US, and now Vietnam. So a surprising thing, and it's a positive surprise, was that communities can be built anywhere. Language doesn't matter. Culture doesn't matter. Who starts it doesn't matter. Each ecosystem has a different leader and then different feeders at some point. But if they do it right, eventual picture of what we're imagining is always the same. Entrepreneurs are same everywhere. They might be speaking different languages, but they're all seeing some great arbitrage opportunity between supply and demand. They came up with some awesome technology, and they're willing to go really hard to build it and make it happen, right? So in that scenario, the biggest surprise was, and people always, this is my biggest problem with people when they say, oh no, Oko, you don't understand this culture. We are different here. It's not gonna work here. And now we've seen it enough. Techstars has been around for 12 years now. Startup Weekend has been around for 10 years. We know this kind of simple model can help any communities anywhere around the world build thriving ecosystems, period. We're in Myanmar as of our latest country, and I'm really hoping to bring our programs to North Korea end of this year. So.
We're actually opening up in Myanmar as well with Rockstar Impact. And the thing is, the good thing about Startup Weekend, that's why I like it so much, there's no money involved. People are volunteering to build an ecosystem, and they are part of that family. And it's not about money. It's about the willingness to start sharing what you know with people that are willing to do the same thing.
Gidi, you've come at it from the other angle, from the government trying to support startups and create an ecosystem. So what was the most surprising thing for you?
I think first we also have the same phenomenon as in Amsterdam. We also, in the past, we try to find very maybe cheap places, not in the city center, but in the neighborhood that those startups could work at and even give it to free, but they don't want. They want to be in the city center, even that sometimes it's much more expensive. So you can see them even like in cafe or in the boulevard walking outside because the weather is really great in Tel Aviv. But they feel that if they won't be in the city center, if they won't go, I don't know, even in the evening to a bar and meet other friends from this scene, from the startup scene, they won't have enough aspiration, connection, knowledge, and so on. So most of the startups, even today in Tel Aviv, they want to be only in the city center.
Is that because it makes it, is that because they're more likely to run into other startup founders, or just because it's all young people think it's cool to live in the city center?
Both. I mean, they want to go out and to find their friends, to find other young and artists and other communities which make them that kind of aspiration. And when we're asking even some company, you know, even Facebook in Tel Aviv opened now a huge branch in Tel Aviv. They built it in the middle of the city, in the most expensive place. And we asked them and other company, why you are paying so much to be in one street in the city, it's called Orchard Boulevard, in the city center, in the most expensive place in Tel Aviv. You can rent a place like 10 minutes in a bus, and it will be like half price. And tell, no, we can't recruit new workers if we are not in the city center. We must be in the city center. And when you go outside, you can see this scene. It's really amazing to see that. You know, you go to the beach and you see people with the laptop working, or in the street in the city. And now, what we are doing now, we are trying to change the table in the main boulevard of the city to like a startup table, we call that, and you can connect to the Wi-Fi and just work together, just outside, free of charge, of course.
Osaka, what about you? What surprised you about Osaka over the last few years?
Yes. I think we're focusing on giving the flexibility and connectivity and diversity to the ecosystem or networking infrastructure. That is, I think, the key features we need to input to the infrastructure. And then I've been providing events like hackathons. And when I had first hackathons with the big companies like Sharp, and I got a kind of a question, why we, Osaka City government, support big companies? Because local government has been conventionally supporting only SMEs, but doesn't care about big companies. But from viewpoint of, ecosystem or kind of power of the city itself, we need to have those, every player to get together to create something. So, and also Japan has a very good strength in the major companies. They have a lot of good talented people and resources of the wisdom or skills or know-how to sell the product or service. And then another thing is that universities itself. But speaking back again, the little bit negative, not negative, but surprise to me is supporting big companies is one of the things that conventional people in the government is criticizing. So I think we are calling this movement working together beyond all boundaries, such as position, title, organization, area, nationality. This is called Hack Osaka. This is the name of the conference, but this is idea. Let's start work together beyond all organizations. So our government, Osaka City government, is addressing that, supporting all members in the ecosystems. So I don't want to be, or anybody wants to become or be surprised at the working together with big companies and universities and every players. That's one of, yeah.
Excellent. The thing I found the most surprising, I've never built a startup community. I guess Disrupting Japan is a small one, but the biggest surprise I found in the development of the startup community in Tokyo is when any foreigner first comes to Japan, we're told of the importance of Japanese culture and of protocol. And the biggest surprise, and it took me far longer to learn this than it really should have, it goes to what Oko is saying, that culture doesn't matter. So in 1998, when I was starting my first e-commerce company, the department stores and everyone was saying, no, Japanese will never buy things online. They need to hold them and touch them. It'll never take off here. And of course it did. And the same thing happened with mobile shopping. Well, women will never buy clothes online with the Yahoo auctions. No, Japanese will never buy used things. And what we're seeing now, what we've seen over the last 5 years especially, is 20, 30 years ago, it would have been unthinkable that so many Japanese would be starting companies. It was just, everyone would have told you it's not part of the culture. But I think what's happened in every case, just the risks and the rewards have changed. It's become easier to start a company. It's become less risky. It's become more rewarding. Joining big companies has become more risky and less rewarding. And so I think that when we see risks and rewards change, we see culture change very fast. And that's really been my biggest surprise in this. But where we are now, I want to ask, and this is something I want to ask from the point of view of the government's opinions first. So I think Japan especially has been making tremendous efforts to support entrepreneurship and to promote entrepreneurship. And I'd like to ask, Masaki, what types of programs should governments be doing? What can governments do effectively? And what kind of things are governments doing that maybe they shouldn't be doing?
Difficult question, but in a way, the things we have been focusing on is our pitch contest here, because Osaka is a kind of a hub in the Kansai region, so where we can attract easily from people from Kyoto and Kobe and area within 30 minutes. So I think this is a suitable place for the market, entrepreneurial market. So we would like to position the Osaka is a entrepreneurial market first. So the pitch contest is one of the things that we have focusing on. And second is that as government, as a government is a convener. It's a convener, all the staffs or the resources, but can convene all elements, even in the competitors in the market. So we have a good position to attract the power in the platforms, but it's not a leader of the ecosystem because government's business cycle is too short to run the ecosystem. So that's why what we are challenging now is to letting the private sector do the similar things like acceleration programs. And the other thing is that I think the subsidizing to the private sector who is going to hold a co-working space and also the kind of large space for open innovation areas. And then also we are going to bid or invite World Expo 2025. This is a kind of a symbolic project to let the people think about open innovation. So Expo 2025 is going to have open innovation outdoor laboratory or living lab. So that's why the good things. So these are the things we are doing right now. And then, however, so speaking back to your questions, what things that is not effective is that kind of the things that we do as if we were a leader of the network infrastructure or a kind of events, because our term is very short.
Okay, excellent. Gidi, what are your thoughts? What do you think government should be doing and what should they not be doing?
Okay, I think first there is no kind of secret recipe for this kind of success. And actually in Tel Aviv, most of the phenomenon, actually it's like bottom up. I mean, it's not coming from the government. What we are doing like kind of a round table and try to understand what are the obstacles or what do they want us to do. So we are doing like kind of open data because they need a lot of information. We do Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi all over the city because they need a place to work, some kind of outdoors for the people in Tel Aviv, so we do it. There are tax reduce for the early stage and so on. But what I think most important, as we see it as a very important point, is this kind of mixed uses. I mean, what we are trying to do in Tel Aviv, it's that we don't have a separate area, for example, for the academy or industrial zone or artist quarter and so on. What we are trying to do that all of them will be together in the same place. I mean, the people that work in the hospital and the teacher and the academy, they all live together in the same place in mixed uses. It means in the same place, you go to school, your walk is like 10-minute walk, and at night you go to the bar, and you're always meeting other communities because we believe that this is really important, this kind of variety of population, a lot of minority that live together. This is the best field for the startup to have kind of aspiration and to get an ideas, because most of the startup they are trying to find problem and to solve them, and we give them the aspiration to contact other community that they would never meet. We believe that if the startup community we live in, you meet only people from the startup and not other kind of people, you won't have enough aspiration to solve problem that you don't know. For example, in Tel Aviv, it's really popular, the med tech in Tel Aviv, because of this good interaction between the doctor and the medicine field and the startup, same as artists and other fields.
Yeah, I made me think, we have, so the Netherlands is really small, 18 million people altogether, but we have a king. And one of the good things that we have installed is a special startup envoy, which happens to be the brother of the king, Prince Constantine. And the good thing is that he's super accessible. So although he is part of the royal family, which we in some way take seriously, although the Dutch don't take anything too seriously, but anyway, I can call him up and say, we have this problem that we just don't understand with, let's say, a specific texting. And he's not going to solve it for us, but he at least is going to help us find the right people to talk to. And if he does the introduction, we'll be at the table. So that's one good thing. What a government can do is a special envoy. And in our case, it happens to be a prince, but it could be anyone. And it was, before the prince, it was someone who came from the European Commission. So that's one really good thing.
So it's just a way that small startup companies can have their ideas bubble up to the top very quickly.
Yeah, so I agree. A community, you build a community bottom up, but you need help at the top for some things to just being dealt with. And like large corporations should have a startup officer. You can have startup officers in different governmental institutions where they at least have a desk that they can talk to someone and find someone. And then another thing that one of the city of Amsterdam started doing is look at what startup accelerators like we all do have done, and look at the market and say, okay, we have a couple of challenges as a city of Amsterdam, and we invite startups from around the globe to address the challenges, and we host them like we do, as accelerators do, and they don't invest in them, but they are a launching customer, because some do like smart lighting or smart sensing on the streets, etc. And it's a great way to get involved. So it's fairly easy. You don't have to mimic everything that startup communities or private sector communities do, but some things are really relevant. So a startup officer, a startup envoy, someone who has access to governmental people and can change things. And one of the things that in the Netherlands changed very fast was they asked us, what is one of your biggest problems? And we found that we invited companies to come to the Netherlands for 3 months in our accelerator program, and then just a couple of days before demo day, they had to leave the country because they didn't have a visa. So people from, for instance, we had a great company from Brazil, and they couldn't pitch for investors because they had to leave the country. So we said one of our biggest problems is a visa for our startups. And together with Startup Bootcamp, our colleagues in the Netherlands and some others, we did, I think it took us like 8 months to completely have a new signature under the startup visa, which now you can take a year in order to prove that you have the time to build a startup, etc., when you're from abroad.
Excellent. Shan?
I'm from Shenzhen. Shenzhen is a very unique city because most of the government policy experiment is tested in Shenzhen before open up to other places in China. And I think two of the things that the government did very efficient. One is to simplify the business registration for private business owners. And nowadays that we can register companies, we will get the registration done by just 1 week. We will get the business registration done. And previously, we have to go to different government agency to get a stamp, and then to be able to register a company. Now we just go to one agent, and then to apply the applications online, and then get the business license within 1 week. And also the second thing that the government did is to lower the cost, and we reduce the tax for the small business owners and the small private business. And now there's another initiative happening in Shenzhen. It's called Qianhai, Special Economic Zone. And then now we reduce the business tax down to 15%, which is lower than Hong Kong and lower than most of the other countries. So
Free zone?
a free zone, yes, a free trading zone. And then these two things, I think it's motivating people to start their own business very fast.
Oko, I know you've worked with quite a few governments. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so firstly, I think it's now a time where I see that governments wanting to be helpful in community building, and governments are very open to sharing their experiences with each other. So what we're seeing is a lot of government people from this country traveling there, because every country out there is experimenting with some cool ideas, including the free zone. I'll say two specific things here for diversity. I think number one, really effective governments plays as an amplifier for the champions, for the stories, for the grassroots movements that's going on, because they have that ability to rally up all the news and press in the country behind them to tell the story. And that's really what's motivating when you're just starting to build a community. You need that first generation stories to be told to build the second and third generation. The other thing that seems to be happening in Southeast Asia really well, and specifically also in Korea and Singapore, is what you're doing, which is government is rallying up the traditional corporations to be active players and feeders into the ecosystem and community. Eventually, these guys gonna be the ones who are gonna be putting in tons of resources and bringing a huge momentum. And oftentimes, the grassroots, two guys in the coffee shop will not necessarily gonna be able to move sharp like that. But it is the government who says, hey, we're with these guys. There's a big benefit, we vouch, and let's work together. It's that role that government seems to be playing really well in Singapore and Korea, and seems to be happening in Japan as well.
That's excellent. Some really amazing points. I think the only thing I would add, and it's specific to Japan, I agree with Masaki that the one thing the government should not do is try to lead. It needs to be the startup founders, the entrepreneurs leading the movement. But I think the most important thing that the government has done so far it has been, I mean, there's the startup programs, events like this are wonderful and they're supportive, but I think perhaps the most important thing is that having mayors and governors and even Prime Minister Abe get out in front of television cameras and say, startups are the future of Japan. This is the source of innovation. We need to understand this, has had a legitimizing effect on startups that has been unbelievable. So when I started my first company back in 98, if I wanted to work with a large Japanese company, I would be pushed down through like 4 levels of subcontractors. Because big companies just didn't work with little companies like mine. They just didn't. And now that's all changed. Every large and medium-sized company in Japan is saying, what's going on with this startup stuff? We need to understand it. We need to connect with this. And I think that attitude change is primarily driven by government shining a spotlight on it and saying this is important. So I think they need to keep doing that. And
That's good, yes. I need to have their mayors coming in and to shout out.
it is so important in Japan.
Very important. But we had the mayors come 2 years ago, but anyway.
And it helps.
Helps.
But I'd say the one thing I'd love to see Japan do in the future, and the one thing a lot of the startups on my show that have received government grants say, much more than government grants, they want the ability to bid on government contracts. The government needs to have a program, kind of like the US DARPA program, where startups can bid on small projects, where they have a chance to prove themselves against Mitsubishi and Marubeni. I think that would be the next amazing step for the Japanese government to take.
Yes. One thing that I would like to add is that one of the major problems the entrepreneurs are facing or startups facing is the human resource, core human resources. Can take major roles like a CFO or a CMO or even a CEO. So I have been telling the major corporation to get such kind of people borrowed from the major corporations, because this kind of opportunities will be a very good educational projects for the employees of the major corporations. So I'm telling those major corporations.
Fantastic. Okay, the last question I want to ask in the grand tradition of panel discussions and keynote speeches, you fly to somewhere across the world and are asked to give advice about a place you've only just arrived in. So with that in mind, I want to ask, what is the best advice you have to give to the Osaka startup community right now? Oko, do you want to start us?
Sure. So like I said earlier, a beautiful thing about these, what we call startup communities and startup ecosystem is it's so open. It is the shared value among communities, among ecosystems is that we help each other. We support each other. We're always open to share our experience of what worked, what didn't work. And what I'm noticing, which is sort of a weakness here that I've noticed, is that Japanese tend to stay in Japan. There's a lot of amazing things happening here, but the rest of the world does not hear about it as much or don't get to collaborate as much. And oftentimes it's a language barrier, but it's also very fixable. So I would say reach out, talk to other communities. We're here, we're always open. We want to come and work together. And I know everybody feels that same way. So just, collaborate more, be open a little bit more.
Excellent. Oscar?
One of the things that I learned is in the Netherlands when this Envoy started, every city was competing with Amsterdam. Amsterdam is attracting all the attention, and everyone wanted to move to Amsterdam, and everyone started competing with other cities for tech companies. So what the government helped with is to look at the map of the Netherlands. I said Amsterdam almost. But anyway, to look at the map of the country and then say, okay, we have defined like 13 different regions that have a distinct personality and character and speciality in what they do. So it's security or hardware, high tech, creativity, finance, shipping, trading, and all that, and help the cities define their identity because they have roots, they have traditions that they are really good at. I believe textile is one of the things that is in one of the closed cities here, and for instance, like that. So if you help them focus on that, on specific areas, you stop competing for this one tech unicorn that everyone wants to have. It is invest in, let's say, the verticals that you're really good at. That would be one thing. And in Osaka, I'm not aware, having been here for the second time, but now for 36 hours, I don't know what it is exactly, but to focus on those specifics that really color this region and collaborate with other cities, do more or less the same thing, because in the distinction and the differences, you might stand out better than to do every tech startup, every unicorn that
So to
everyone's
find
working
their
on.
strength.
Find your strength and communicate that and help the government in doing that for the other regions as well.
Okay. Gidi?
The potential of Osaka, it's huge, it's amazing. And I think that because there are a lot of you see the education system and you see there are big company here that it's also very, very important, and this kind of interaction could be great. I think what it's really important to create first a community, and I saw that here in the lab near us, that it's great ideas and seem amazing. And also I think what's going to be really important is to do more like kind of exchange, or even to bring here some a company or startup from other country to residency, or to even to 1 year, to maybe exchange, just to create more interaction between the market here that is still small and the other company, to have interaction and aspiration from each other.
When I give talks in China, every time my advice will be just the same. It's just go out, because we have been dealing with many startups, and most of the time when the startup founder says that I'm the only person building the only product with the only technology, it's not true. You will never be the only person building the only products. You need to go out there, you need to go out of your home country to other market to see if somebody else is building something similar like yours. I think that is very important. And also this time in Japan, I think for most Japanese company, another advice that I would give is that I think the business culture here, there are goods and bads. Good, it's we do a lot of preparations. The Japanese companies always does many preparations before they make decision to move on for the next move. But I have to say, like nowadays, in the ecosystem, in the innovation ecosystem, we cannot wait that long. You have to move fast and you have to decide fast. So that would be my advice to the Japanese startups or companies.
Excellent. Masaki, you're our Osaka expert.
Thank you very much for the kinds of advices, and then appreciate it, really appreciate it, and you have points. And also, because probably the foreign people is looking at the Osaka from outside, we could get the kind of our opportunities and the strength. And so that's why we have been focusing on connecting with the global communities like them. So get in the ring in Netherlands and Tel Aviv City in Israel, and the LeagueX in Shenzhen, with which we have just concluded signing MOU today, and very proud of this kind of things. So I think that getting our people exposed to the global arena or global society maybe like stimulus to us, stimulating to us. So anyway, I would like to get all of you are exposed to the other global communities. So that is in a way what is called Haku Osaka.
I think the advice I have is to the Osaka entrepreneurs in particular. And the very first time I came to Haku Osaka 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe, I remember I was talking to two startup founders, or two individuals who were planning on starting a company. And they were saying that, you know, this is a great event. There should really be more events like this. There should be more of a community. And I said, you guys should do that. And they said, yeah, someone should really do that. And I thought, okay, maybe my Japanese isn't that good. I said, no, you two you're in a building with hundreds of people who want to talk about startups. You should get phone numbers and build a community. And they said, yeah, someone should do that. And it's like, no, seriously, you two, get Meishi, buy some beer and pizza. And they're like, yeah, that's a good idea. But, you know, I know they didn't do it. And even last week, when I was coming down here, so Kyoto is much smaller than Osaka. But when the Kyoto startup community found out that I was going to be in Osaka, I had 3 invitations to go to Kyoto and grab some beers with the startup community. They were introducing Kyoto startups back and forth to get on Disrupting Japan. So even though they're a tiny community, they're involved. And I think what Masaki said before is that it's so important. The government can't lead. The government can support. They can shine a spotlight on whatever it is you're doing. But for Osaka to really shine as a startup community, it requires the startups and the people who want to start up to step into that spotlight. And that's the best advice I can give right now to Osaka. But I want to thank you all for inviting us, and I want to thank our panel today. So let's give them a big round of applause. And thank you so much.
Hello. Hey, I'm back. Thank you. I thought I'd dress up for the party. So I hope you enjoyed the panel discussion. Did you? Did everybody enjoy it? I hope you learned something. You're probably thinking, why is she wearing that? Well, the reason is, after this, as you know, we have the International Pitch Contest. The session will begin here. But before that, we're going to take a little break. And I did hear that there was going to be the award ceremony here for the Monotsukuri pitch contest. And I thought Monotsukuri means things that have been made, crafts. So I made a hat. Because I forgot, or actually didn't know, it was a Monotsukuri hardware pitch contest. So I missed the hardware part, but that's okay because free Wi-Fi. So everybody switch on when you're ready. So we are going to take a break. As I say, the results of the Monotsukuri hardware pitch contest will be announced here on the stage from now. We're just setting up, preparing the stage for that. But we are also going to take a little break, so that will take place during the break. If you could be back here for the pitch contest, for the international pitch contest at 3:50. You have plenty of time to see the award ceremony, the award here for the Monotsukuri contest, and then we'll start the international pitch contest. So please be back by 3:50. And the award for the Monotsukuri contest. The announcement will be made by the organizer of the Monotsukuri Hardware Cup, and that is Mr. Narimasa Makino. So that will take place here from now. So after you've seen that, you can pop next door to the communication arena, have a coffee, a little bit more chatting with other people, and we'll see you back here at 3:50. Thank you. Free Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina Sasaki, and I'm here today to honorably announce the winners of our second Monozukuri Hardware Cup. The Japanese representatives that will be chosen here today, actually they were already chosen by our team of judges, will have the chance to join a final competition in the global stage in Pittsburgh, US, and compete against startups from India, Israel, South Korea, and North American hubs, Canada, and the US. We think it is a great honor to host this event here. First of all, Osaka has been great to give us the chance to use the stage. And second, because we are in Kansai, the hub of makers in Japan. So for those of you who are not from Japan, not familiar, I would say 80% of the hardware electronic industry is based in this region where we are. So we have a chance to have here mostly possible partners and supporters for the startups that are presenting here today. So I'd like to call the attention for the ones that are here today, and we would really appreciate if you could continue supporting the startups after our event. So before the announcement of the winners of Monozukuri Hardware Cup 2018, I would like to call to the stage our judge, the head of the judges today, Ryota Matsuzaki, CEO from Kibidango, Tokyo. Please give him a big applause.
Thank you, Sabrina. Hello, everyone. My name is Ryota Matsuzaki. I'm CEO and founder of a crowdfunding company called Kibidango, based out of Japan, Tokyo. We had 4 judges, and we spent quite a bit of time trying to choose from the 8 companies that was chosen from out of 30, I guess, who applied to this contest. And I would say that it was very difficult process to pick only 3 out of that 8 entrants. What we saw in a smaller room where the 8 teams presented, they were very unique in many ways. They had many interesting sort of aspects. We reviewed those companies from 3 aspects, which is same with the contest that they will be presenting in Pittsburgh, which is by the quality of the team, the size of the market and the marketability of the product, and the technology. Before sort of, talking about the specific sort of team, I wanted to just reiterate the potential that the hardware startups in Japan is having among the global market. I've been investing in many companies. As part of a big company, I was a senior executive at Rakuten, invested more than $2 billion in companies inside and outside Japan, and also spent quite some time investing as an angel investor. I've done quite a few software startups and hardware startups. What I can say is that the quality of Japanese startups are really, really superb among many companies. And what I see outside of Japan is that the companies are born out of everywhere, especially for hardware startups. They are not necessarily born out of Silicon Valley. They are born out of East Coast US or Latin America, European, East European companies, and Asian countries. So they're born out of everywhere. And I think it's the reflection of where we stand in this sort of 2018, where the technologies are everywhere. It's the idea and creativity and the team that makes a business idea really incredible and be successful in the global setting. And what I like to really make you think after this event is that everyone has that opportunity. Not only the 8 entrants, of which 3 of them will be lucky enough to go to Pittsburgh, but I would like to have you think whether you or your friends or friends of friends could be participating in this event next time. Because having a chance, having an opportunity is the first step to making something really great. And so that I'd like to really give a big applause to the every entrance, the 8 people who represented today. So thank you so much and congratulations to them. So, we've chosen 3 companies and we've chosen 1 company as a winner, but I think it's important to say that every one of them are as good as the winner or the 2nd and 3rd place. And I would like to really encourage people to keep challenging and try to sort of, accomplish their goal, no matter how. Winning a competition is one thing, but I guess in the overall the longer goal is to really make a successful business. And I think this is one of the very first steps for everyone. And I think we will all of us will need to think about what can we do to help bring this company or business a successful one. So with that, I'd like to pass microphone to Makino-san, who will announce the winner.
Thank you for the introduction, Matsaki-san. So I'm Makino, and the chairman of the Monozukuri Hardware Startup Consortium and Makers Bootcamp CEO and co-founder. It's a pleasure to be here and so give an opportunity for the award. And our consortium was established by the Pub Foundry in New York and Tech Shop Tokyo and the Makers Bootcamp in Kyoto, the 1.5 years ago, to support a startup company and to make a hardware ecosystem in Japan. Today, the pitch event in one of our activity and the semifinal of the Hardware Cup in Pittsburgh. The final and one of the biggest hardware competition in the world. This time, 20 startup company team that applied and 8 startup company that was selected and to the event. Last, so I want to appreciate the sponsor for the event. And if we cannot get a sponsorship, so we cannot do. Okay. Still sponsor, it means the platinum sponsor is the Hankyu Railway Company. Thank you. And gold sponsor is Tsuneishi Group. Thank you. Thank you very much. And silver sponsor is Amazon Launchpad. The bronze sponsor, Analog Devices, Dassault System, and Kyoto Makers Garage. Thank you very much again. Yes, finally, so I announced the winner of Monozukuri Hardware Cup 2018, starting from 3rd winner.
So the third place will get a demo booth during Hardware Cup in Pittsburgh 2018 on April 18th. And we'll also have the chance to have matchmaking and meet investor during the tour together with Monozukuri Hardware Cup team.
Yes. Third winner is Smart Shopping. Please come to on the stage. Congratulations. Yes. Next is second winner is Challenger. Please come on the stage. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
The last is
Who is going to represent Japan at the Hardware Cup 2018 in Pittsburgh?
is Hachitama. Congratulations. Come on the stage.
So Hachitama will win not only the round-trip tickets, the demo
Congratulations.
booth, they will have the chance to have all the entire event and be the voice of Japan in terms of hardware innovation. So now we would like to call all startups that
Yes, come here.
participated today. Big applause to all of them.
If the judge on the floor and so come here.
We'll take a photo of the group. And also judge, I know 3 out of the 4 should be around here. Paul? Thank you all, and we hope to have more applications next year, and we are looking forward to the applications from Kansai. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Did you guys have a good break? My name is Peter Rothenberg. I am the former chief editor for Tech in Asia Japan and currently founder of Best Beer Japan. I'll be hosting the pitches today. We have 10 startups for your enjoyment. There will be a 5-minute pitch followed by 1 question from the judges. Are you guys ready to hear some pitches? Are you excited? I don't think you're excited yet. You're still in break mode. Are you guys excited? Woo! This is why we're here. First, let's introduce our fabulous judges. Coming up first on stage is Miss Junko Foley. She is president of Daimon and co-founder of Silver Egg Technology. Next up, we have Mr. Oko Davaasuren, Regional Director at APAC at Techstars. Give him a big hand. Next is Mr. Oscar Kneppers, founder of Rockstart. And now we have Mr. Gidi Schmerling, Director of Media and Communications for Tel Aviv City in Israel. Next, we have Mr. Shan Lu, founding partner and CEO at LeaguerX. He had an amazing signing this morning. And last up, we have Mr. Alan Miner, CEO of Sunbridge. All right, and now our top batter for our startup pitch competition is Joselito Barquez from Blood Hero. Let's welcome him to the stage.
December 1997, I got afflicted with dengue. I was in critical condition that time and need to undergo blood transfusion. Unfortunately, I realized that the hospital does not have enough blood supply when the doctor had to advise my family to look for blood elsewhere. Thankfully, through the generosity of the donors who took their time to visit and shared their blood, I was able to survive that ordeal. Yet 20 years have passed, we are still in that same scenario. For a country like the Philippines that does not have a centralized blood bank system, whenever a patient needs blood, they have to ask their family and friends to donate. Yet most of the time, their friends and family are not eligible nor have the compatible blood type. So, the patient has no other option but to look for other blood donors. And if they still don't get enough, they reach out to friends of friends and then call on other friends and so on. While the search for blood takes days and even weeks, the patient goes weaker and weaker. By that time enough donors were gathered, it is too late. Based on the recommendation of World Health Organization, blood donation by 1% of the population is needed to meet a nation's most basic requirement for blood. In other words, for a country like the Philippines, with more than 100 million population, it needs over 1 million units of blood annually to ensure supply will not run out. Yet our 2016 data shows that we have a gap of 83,000 units, and that translates to around 35,000 patients that were not being given the blood needed immediately. It is for this reason that we developed Blood Hero, which is a social platform that makes life-saving blood available to people who need it. Based on the feedback that we got from the Philippine Blood Center, among the first users of this platform, their donor retention rate has increased to 23% due to the constant notification, education, and information that their donors have been receiving from the Blood Hero platform. Before, hospitals have to check their donor compatibility and eligibility through Excel sheet. If qualified, gets the contact number of these donors, then sends blood requests to them manually through SMS. Yet this whole process takes more than 10 minutes. Now, the platform makes it more efficient for hospitals to send requests in less than 2 minutes with 100% accuracy on search for donor compatibility and eligibility. From our current number of users, our target is to increase that to 50,000 by the end of this year. Now, to tap volunteer blood donors, especially the young generations, we've come up a game-like platform with badges named after our heroes. For example, if you donated between 1 and 8 units of blood, you get the Lapu badge. Between 65 and 71 units, you get the Luna badge, and our highest badge, named after our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal, at 100 plus blood donation units. Now, allow me to show you a glimpse on how the Blood Hero app works through this infographic video. The Blood Hero app empowers the unsung heroes of blood donation. Now, volunteers can actively participate and cooperate with hospitals whenever blood is needed. Each volunteer called a Blood Hero has its own account. A Blood Hero gets notified through the app when there is a need for their exact blood type, together with the hospital's name and contact number where their blood is needed. Each blood donation they make is then recorded and is displayed on the Blood Hero's profile. Through the quick dissemination of information to the Blood Heroes, the process of collecting blood for the patient in need is much quicker. Aside from saving lives, Blood Hero can also expect other benefits when they volunteer. When the blood hero or someone they know is in need of blood, they can search for their blood bodies through the app and directly ask for compatible blood donations. Blood Hero also have the capability to customize their profile together with their contact information and notification settings. Blood Hero, committed to life. Now, we are starting in the Philippines. Think of what it can do to other developing countries. Imagine how many lives it can save globally. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Joselito at Blood Hero. We have time for one question and one question only from the judges. Do you guys have a microphone over there? Yes, the power.
After how many modifications, pivots, did you come up with this gamified version you have now?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. Actually, several things already. We've come up almost over 10 modifications already because we've started the research and development way back in 2012. So we are also developing this platform based on the policies that is being considered here with the hospitals in the Philippines. So as you see, the Philippine blood system is not centralized. So we have to adapt to that system.
That's one question. All right, let's give Blood Hero a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Ugo Whale from We Reward. Please give him a big round of applause.
CEO and co-founder of We Reward. So today I'm going to present to you our solution for all flight disruptions. So let's start by going to a trip to Paris together for a minute. You arrive at the airport with your family. Your kids have been expecting this 1 week holiday for a long time. The excitement is visible. You're ready to get on board that plane when the airline representative announces a 5 hours delay, or even worse, a cancellation. How did you feel? Angry? Pissed? You are not alone. It is a big problem. Last month only, 1 million passengers experienced a similar situation, and it is not going anywhere. With the air traffic increase, the airline operations have never been under more pressure than today. At We Reward, we empower travelers to make the most of their journey by creating the most customer-centric application in the world. Our first mission is to ensure that passengers suffering delays or cancellation get the right support and can get the compensation they are entitled to. So today I want to talk to you about how we're solving those problems and why you should not miss the chance in joining us in rethinking the traveling world in a true customer-focused way. So I want to talk to you about a friend of mine, Bob. Bob was supposed to come to Osaka to pitch his startup. When he arrived at the airport, he realized his flight got canceled. So my first question is, what would you do if you were Bob? There were two scenarios. First scenario, like 90% of the people, you do not know your rights. Then you get no ticket reimbursement, no food, drinks, or internet, and no compensation for your cancellation. Second scenario, you know your rights. Let's stop here for a minute and understand what those rights are. Many countries have their own regulation, but today we're going to focus on the European regulation, which We Reward is an expert in. So for any flight cancellation or delay more than 3 hours, you're eligible to $700 for any flight departing from the European Union or any flight arriving in the European Union operated by a European airline. So now let's go back to Bob that want to claim his compensation. He faces two major problems: the complex procedures with tons of paperwork to fill in, and the negative answers for the airline or denial. This leads to an average wasted time of 5 hours and a low success rate of only 10%. Actually, there is a third scenario, We Reward. We address those problems by having a really easy 3-minute online form that you can fill in with all your flight information. Then we check your eligibility, we negotiate with the airlines, and we go to court for you if necessary. We do all that with a no-win, no-fee policy, meaning you do not need to pay anything up front, and we take a 25% commission on the money collected. So we launched 6 months ago, and so far we've had clients from all over the world. We've dealt with more than 80 airlines at the moment. Just in January, we claimed $160,000, and we also have the best rating on Google and Facebook with a 4.9 out of 5 average rating. So what about the future? At WeReward, we do not think that fighting with airlines is sustainable. This is why we want to partner with them, enabling a faster compensation process for our client and an improvement in our customer satisfaction. This is why we built our solution, WeReward Prem. So how does it work? It's really easy. You buy your ticket on the airline website. Then you get offered the possibility to subscribe for only $5 to our solution. And if your flight gets canceled or delayed, we pay your full compensation with 0% fee within a week. And what's in for the airline? We share this subscription cost to the airline, with the airline to bring them auxiliary revenues. We're the first company that built a product that could both benefit the airline and the client. So what's next for us? Right now, we are currently looking for our second round of funding of $2 million, and any advice to help us achieve scale and reach our 10,000 customers by the end of Q3. We're also looking for, to partner with Japanese airlines and an insurance company here in Japan in order to launch our solution, WeReward Premium, by the end of the year here in Japan. So next time you have a flight disruption, delay, or cancellation, don't forget to think about us. And if that has already happened to you, our Japanese website is already waiting for you. Arigato.
All right, thank you very much, Hugo, and WeReward. Time for your one question.
All right, I'll put two things in it. Number one, is it only budget airlines? Or, I mean, is it only normal airlines? Do you cover budget airlines? Number one. And number two is, how is this scalable in terms of regulations in different countries?
So we can claim compensation to any airlines. In fact, the regulation applies to all the European Union, regardless of the airline and regardless of the nationality of the passenger. So any flight, as long as it's departing from the EU or arriving in the EU operated by a European airline, there it's entitled to compensation. So if tomorrow you go from Paris to Osaka with ANA, then we're going to claim to ANA the compensation. And in terms of scaling up, it's exactly the same regulation in 30 countries. So that's why it's a really huge market with around 3% of the flights that are eligible to compensation.
All right, well done. Thank you very much. Definitely a huge headache in travel not being looked at enough. Our next speaker up is Harumi Shiode from Nature Remo. Please come on stage. Let's welcome him.
Hi everyone, my name is Harumi. I'm the CEO and founder of Nature. We make Nature Remo that transforms your old air conditioner to a smart air conditioner. This small white device is Nature Remo. We just launched this device last October, and I just wanted to watch a quick video to explain what Nature Remo does. So it's a very simple device. And Limo is connected with your home Wi-Fi, and it communicates with your smartphone via the internet. And it sends an infrared signal to communicate with your air conditioning unit. Limo works with hot devices such as Google Home and Amazon Echo, and you can control your air conditioner with your voice. Not just air conditioner, but also the TV and ceiling light, as long as those units comes with infrared remote control. What our customer says, so our customer loves the product. This is the article that was just published at the end of last year, and what it says is the combination of Google Home and Nature Remote is too comfortable. My very personal Best Buy in 2017 can't even think about my life without them. And he's not the only one. This is another article about Nature Remote. It says the best partner with smart speaker. So the smart speaker excitement has just started. And this is a figure in the US. In Japan, we are like a few years behind. So the smart speaker excitement has just started. So in Japan, more than 100 million of air conditioners are installed. And this number is 10 times bigger globally. However, most of those air conditioning units are not smart and it's not connected to the internet. So since the launch, we have already earned over 1 million as a revenue, and our sales has been tripled compared to the first month. Moreover, at the beginning of last month, we started selling at the Big Camera, and one of the largest retail stores in Japan, and this is how it is represented. You can easily find it at the section of Google Home. So in order for us to even scale faster, we just closed $1 million round from the Diver Corporate Investment. So we are a team of engineers and designers, and myself, I have energy and IT background. I used to work in the power industry for 5 years when I was in Mitsui. We started with Nature Remo because the AC peak demand is huge. It is equivalent to 26 nuclear power plants. And we are already working with Kansai Electric to use this Nature Remo not just for smartening your air conditioner, but also for managing the peak demand. Air conditioner is just the beginning for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Harumi. All right, let's give it over to the judges for your one question.
I really personally like this one because I really want to use it at home. My question is that what is the challenge you actually see in expanding your business in Japan?
So as a startup, the marketing is one of the biggest challenges because there's a bunch of electronics company in Japan. So we have to find a way that we can scale with a minimum marketing expenses that we are working together with Google. So they are putting a bunch of money to spread the devices, but we are putting this device next to the Google Home so that people can just understand and then like see this device when they come to the electronic stores to buy the Google Home.
Okay, that's our one question. Thank you very much, Harumi. Nature Remo, it's great to see IoT making dumb devices smart and save the world. Next up, we have Vincent Wu from Yi Yuan. Let's welcome him to the stage.
So I'm Vincent Wu. I come from Shenzhen, China. We formed a company called Yuan Technology last year. We are focusing on doing AI models to do skincare treatment or some quality assessment. And since we formed the company, we achieved some results in the medical image path. And for example, we are the national winner for the among 3,000 teams in the non-nodule detection from the CT image. And also we work with the birth hospitals in China for capsule endoscopy video analysis. And also several months ago, we attended a contest between the AI and the real doctor. Our AI can outperform the doctors for the cervical cell classification. But our strongest interest and area lies in the facial skin quality analysis. And to do that, we hire many experienced dermatologists and ask them to label more than 10 million face images to ask them to distinguish the skin disease types. And currently, we can provide API, SDK, and some OEM products. And our team has a very good, very strong technical background. I studied in Tsinghua and finished my postdoc in Leeds University on machine learning. And many of the teams come from the intelligent, the Tencent company. And speaking of the market challenge, actually, we are very short of dermatologists in China. And if we just focus on the facial skin, actually, we are actually referring to the cosmetology industry. And there is a number at the projection about the market size in China is about $200 billion US dollar by 2020 in China for the cosmetology industry. But unfortunately, we are very short of practitioners. We have 14 million cosmetology practitioners in China, but only 1 over 400 of them are professional doctors. So that's why we want to introduce AI to enhance their professionalism. Here we can find some pioneer companies, such as the Modiface in the US. But our company follow a different approach. We collect data very large scale, and then do segmentation and landmarking learning, and some based on the supercomputer to do many types of facial skin. For example, we build some apps based on iOS, Android, and even WeChat widget to collect data. And some of them can even try the widget to get answers. And we developed our own landmark algorithms to introduce more landmarks. And we developed some newly methods such as the RCN to pinpoint the position and the disease type of face skin. And we launched the API service in the Alibaba healthcare platform, and which adopts a pay-per-coin business model. We also sell SDK to our clients on a license fee model. The clients can, based on the API or SDK, to build apps or products which can distinguish the age or the face skin quality, and also the face skin problems. And also currently we are joint to work with a manufacturer locally, and also we will bring a product this year in the Beauty World Japan in May. And to summarize, we are the number one and the first and the best in delivering dermatology diagnosis AI in China with 150 clients, and also we are the first to deliver the skincare AI SDK, and we are expecting to embed the SDK into 2 million handsets in China. And here we list some of our core partners, and we are looking forward to some Japan partners to further enhance our models and put it into the real use. And thanks.
Okay, thank you, Vincent and Yi Yuan. Let's get ready for your question.
So if you could have cured my acne when I was a teenager, I'd be all over it. It seems that you and your team have done lots of AI image processing research in a number of health fields. You had lung cancer example at the beginning. And some of your presentation looked like you're maybe looking to build a consumer app for people to self-diagnose or choose cosmetics. And the overall sense, it was hard for me to get a sense of what's your core one target market and business model and value proposition to whom. And so if you could be very clear about where the value is, who you're planning to sell it to, and sort of what's the core focus of the company as you build your business.
Okay, we adopt the business model, is a 2B business model, not to consumer. So we provide API and SDKs to many professional cosmetology shop or some cosmetology manufacturers, and empower them to embrace the image processing and AI by integrating our API and SDK. So that's just to solve the problem of because we have so many cosmetology practitioners in China, but they are very short of professionals. That's what we aim to.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Vincent. This AI technology will sure to improve our healthcare system. Next up, we have Tania Suarez from iControl. Let's welcome her to the stage. Clap.
Today, I'm going to be speaking to you on behalf of a community who cannot express their needs.
ALS patients like me and other locked-in people cannot move and cannot talk. We might all have perfect minds, but we're locked in our bodies. The current communication devices cost thousands of dollars, and the lucky few who can afford them still can't use them in a variety of situations. When not in front of the screen, including laying down in bed and whenever they leave the house. iControl is here to change this reality, to change our story. The people at iControl are creating a revolutionary device that allows locked-in people to speak using only their eyes at a fraction of the cost, so they can say what's on their mind anytime, anywhere.
There are more than 1 million ALS and other locked-in patients worldwide, and sadly, this number is growing. These patients have full cognitive abilities, but they're locked within their bodies. The current communication devices for them are very expensive, and because they require a screen, the users are not able to communicate in various situations throughout their day, for example, immediately upon waking, while in the bathroom, or during transport. The iControl device has 3 advantages over our competitors. Number 1, it's wearable, so that the patient has access to communication 24/7. Number 2, it is affordable, making it more accessible to all patients. And number 3, it is simple to use. The iControl device does not require a screen. Instead of the visual feedback, the patients are receiving an audio feedback. The patients are able to hear their chosen communication before sending it to an output speaker. The device enables 3 levels of communication, from sending an alert signal all the way to composing a full sentence, and it can connect to your smartphone.
Hi, my name is Shani, and I am the CEO of Pride for Life. What you see now is the first time in the world the locked-in patient independently communicating without a screen. Thank you.
We are already working with patients, and we've completed a successful clinical trial at Rambam Hospital showing the safety and ease of use of our device. Now let's talk a little bit about the assistive technology market. This market is growing every year by 5 to 10%. In 2016, the current market leader reported revenues of nearly $100 million. And this is with a market penetration rate of less than 10%. These low penetration levels leave a gap in the market that we at iControl intend to fill. The locked-in patients market isn't our only market. If you can imagine being in an intensive care unit and not being able to communicate with the medical staff. In the United States and Europe alone, nearly 10 million patients are admitted into ICU departments every year. Nearly 40% of those patients are temporarily unable to communicate with medical staff. Enabling better communication provides a cost savings to the hospitals, but more importantly, it leads to better patient care. The company holds strong IP on the technology of the device. And as you can imagine, this technology reaches into the growing fields of image processing and eye tracking. Our team all has a close relationship to ALS patients. Shai Rishoni is a businessman, a pilot, an Ironman, and he's an ALS patient himself. He's the president of the ALS NGO Prize for Life. The relationship that we've had with him has opened the gates for us to the ALS community, and he's helped advise us on the technology that we need to include in our device. Ora Redskin, our CEO, is a major in the Navy Reserves. He's worked for PwC and Tel Aviv University and holds degrees in accounting, finance, and physics. Our CTO, Itai Kornberg, has worked for HP and NetApp and has over 5 years' experience volunteering with the patients. We've been honored to receive many awards and recognitions from around the world. And just this past year, we were named one of the top 3 life-changing technologies by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I'm proud to be part of the iControl team, and together, we'll bring a voice back to the locked-in community. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanya and iControl. Let's move to the judges for your question.
I covered it all.
I really liked the technology and also the concept of helping the patients. And I also believe in this technology will change the life of the patients. And can you tell us a little bit about the plans to commercialize the technology and also the plans to maybe distribute your products to the end user?
We're currently finishing our standards testing in order to receive the necessary certifications. In the second quarter of this year, we plan to be in the market in the UK. We're going to follow that up with the United States. We're not just looking at like I said, the locked-in patient market, but also into integrating within hospital systems. So patients that are temporarily locked in will have an ability to access an emergency call button or communicate with their medical staff.
Okay, thank you very much. The Diving Bell and the Butterfly is an inspirational story, and we're looking forward to more inspirational stories from iControl. Next up, we have Gidi Schmerling from Travelio.com. Let's welcome her.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gidi. I'm a co-founder of Travelio.com. So who do we really are? Let's go straight to the point. So we're an online home rental provider. Currently, we're still serving Indonesian domestic and inbound markets. We're offering non-hotel-based service for short-term, which is daily, weekly, and monthly. So the easiest way to actually explain it is we are like, I'm sorry, I have to mention a brand. We are like an Airbnb, but we offer a managed service, an additional value, property management service, which we are doing end-to-end from distribution channel, which is marketing, up until cleaning the rooms, serving the guests, check-in, check-out, and customer relations. And these are some lists of our investors. Okay, so what actually problems that we are trying to solve here? There are 2 sides as a service company. One is a supply side, and the other one is demand. As from the supply side, we are trying to help homeowners, individual investors like you and me. Now, questions is why can't we do it ourselves? First, we have limited distribution channel. We have limited knowledge in hospitality and professionalism. And the moment we decide to buy that investment property, we incur a monthly sunk cost. And the biggest thing that is not listed here is, will we give up our daily job just to look after one investment property? The other one that we look after is the developer, by helping them to untap the short-term rental market and also helping their secondary investors to rent out the properties. The other biggest one is the demand, of course, and it's on the tenant side. Now, why do tenants choose to stay with us rather than going back to an original hotel? We offer more value for money, bigger space. We have the kitchen, the living room, the laundry room, everything that a home can offer. But on top of that, we still maintain a standard hotel quality, which what you will expect from a hotel, a fresh, white, hotel quality linen. Because the worst thing that you want is to stay at someone's house and sleep in the filthy linen. And we also offer standard amenities and food and beverage like hotel do. This is just a bit of stats in Jakarta Greater City. This will blow your mind. There are 210 established units in Jakarta Greater City, of which 45% of them are still empty, meaning there are 100,000 empty units, owners crying for help because they are paying monthly sunk costs and their unit is not receiving any income at all. And that is equal to 1,000 hotel buildings. That's the potential just in Jakarta Greater City. So our business model, we take contracts from B2C customer, individual owners like you and me, operator contracts, so we manage a high-rise one whole building, primary contracts, which is developer unsold units, and also unfurnished units. At the moment, we're serving Indonesia, which is the 4th largest population in the world. And last year, we closed the year with 3,300 properties all around Indonesia. And this year, with the new round of funding, we're planning to close it at 13,000 properties around Indonesia. This is just some company milestone that happens last year with interesting facts that our average booking has 4.95 room nights per booking compared to the hotel industry at 1.7. So that proves that people who is willing to stay for a longer period of time, the tendencies are they're looking for an alternative accommodation because they need the kitchen, the living room, and all sorts. 65% still dominated by domestic user, and 35% is on foreign. And our team consists of 3 founders, Henry, Christina, and myself as the COO. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Christine. Traveleo.com. Let's go to the judges.
I have also one that is true question. First, is it available also for people who want to rent their apartment only for a week or 2 weeks when they're abroad? And how do you convince me to do it with you and not with Airbnb or other company? Because there are quite some company in the market, I think.
Okay, thank you, sir. So we do daily, weekly, and monthly. So yes, you can stay from 1 day to up to a month. And why do you choose Travelio, not Airbnb? Actually, we offer a managed service, while Airbnb is listing only, while you will be communicating with individual hosts. So you will have to develop trust between yourself and the host that you will be staying at. While with us, you will be dealing with a company. So we offer you a guaranteed standardized hotel service by Travelio Property Management, so which is the fresh linen and the amenities. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The travel space is heating up, but it's nice to feel home when you're away. Next up is Kimiko Motoyama from Backtech.
Hi, we're a company operated by Kyoto University School of Medicine, and we have developed an application called Pocket Therapist to target lower back pain and increase productivity at work. Lower back pain is known as a national disease in Japan because 8 out of 10 people will develop it in their lifetime. And this presentation is about how our product will solve that problem. As you can see from the slide, a company loses about $268,000 a year per 100 workers due to presenteeism, which means that workers show up to work, but they can't perform their best because of a health issue or an absenteeism from a health issue. And 61% of this cause is back pain, which is the #1 reason. 60% of the diagnosis people receive from a health institution is unknown because x-rays look fine and physical checkup look normal. And a lot of the institutions don't have the correct knowledge to treat this problem. And the recent popular Japanese word karoshi, which means death from overwork, suggests that people don't have time to go see a specialist. And also with the urbanization, people are moving from smaller area to bigger places. People are having to travel far to go see a specialist, but with a back pain problem, it's very difficult. And while all this is happening, companies are losing more and more money because the workers are losing their productivity because of the pain. The causes of the lower back pain, there's a physical cause and a psychological cause. And the psychological issue has been proven by the evidence that there's a difference in brain activity from a chronic back pain patients and with a normal subjects. And the evidence shows that there's abnormal brain chemistry with the chronic back pain patients. And without treating this abnormal brain chemistry, only 5.3% will recover and 60% will relapse within the next 12 months. And our Pocket Therapist application will solve that problem. It is evidence-based, and you can talk to your national therapist anywhere, anytime. And basically, you can talk to our application through a chat system, and our therapists are well-trained, and we provide them with the correct knowledge and to target this abnormal brain chemistry. And companies will also receive a monthly data analysis to see how their workers are doing and the advice on how to increase their productivity based on their health situation. This is the data that we collected from a company who has used our product for 1 month. And on the scale of 1 to 100, and 100 being the worst, we saw a very good positive effect in just 1 month. And this was equivalent to taking the painkiller for the same amount of month. Also, we saw an increase in productivity by 9.8%. This means that for every 1,500 workers, company will be saving about $4 million every year. Currently, we have 7 companies under contract, and we're making $90,000 a month. And right now, we're in talks with 28 more, and if we can get 100% of those companies, we will be making $545,000 a month. This includes East Japanese Railways. Our strength is, well, we have several, but it's evidence-based, which means that it is proven to be effective, and it has also been approved by the government of Japan, Ministry of Health and Welfare, and we also have doctor supervision from Kyoto and Tokyo University. Our CEO is a researcher and a PhD, and he has an extensive knowledge in the medical field. Our IT leader has been in the prestigious company for 10 years, and he has an extensive knowledge in the IT field as well as the marketing company. I have just become an engineer, and I'm working towards becoming a CTO. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kimiko. And BackTech.
I'm allowed to ask one question. I have 100. So it's hard. But can you explain who's the client? Is the company the client? Is the individual the client? And who's paying what if you have like 7 clients, 35? What was the monthly?
$90,000, right now, $90,000 a month.
Who's paying that?
Oh, the companies. The company, it's a B2B model.
Do you build them like per head? I keep asking until you stop me, okay?
It's a B2B model, and basically we have 3 main clients, and so we have end users who actually uses our product with a chronic back pain problem, and the people who actually use the products are the ones that work at a company, and the company wants to increase productivity and save money. So they will be paying us. The company will be paying us. And also, the company will be paying us, but then also we have more clients, health insurance companies, who will be paying insurance fees for the workers. They will also be paying, you know, either one of them will be paying for the product.
But is the fact that these Japanese companies, or at least your clients, impose too much pressure on their employees, which causes the back pain, and now they're giving them more homework? It feels like it's no fun to work on your back pain in this case. So I'm trying to figure out what is it not like bringing more pressure to the people that actually have this problem?
How would it be more
Well,
pressure?
because it's the company that is saying you have to move more or you have to do this or that because they're paying for it. It's your client.
Right, well, the company doesn't do any pressure. They just pay us, and then we give them advice on how we can make their employees healthier by attacking those problems. Does that answer your question?
We'll have to take it out at the after party. That's it for our questions. Thank you very much, Kimiko. And back tech. All of us will suffer from back pain probably at some point, so hopefully this can help us get back to work sooner. Next up, we have Eric Kim from DOT. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. I'm Eric, CEO of DOT. In the world, there are more than 285 million visually impaired people living. And more than 90% of them becoming blind after 20s. And they're facing hardships in everything. With our invention, they can overcome and they can enhance their life's possibilities. Let me introduce the world's first tech-house smartwatch. DOT Watch. This was our teaser launching video in China. We are starting in China at March. 3 years ago, I met one blind woman when I did volunteering work. At the time, she was reading gigantic Braille book, and I realized that Braille Bible becomes 22 times bigger than normal books. And all the devices are only just in concept. No one actually mass-produced. And what available in the market looks like this bulky machine, and it only consumed by a government. The market size is about $50 million, and that device costs more than $5,000. For 20 years, no one actually changed it. So we established the DOT to actually change this problem. So we made a solutions that decreases size more than 90% of the cost and size of the existing technology with 30 patents. So we created this masterpiece DOT Watch. And we are mass production ready. It's already automated process. We are actually producing it right now. On the DOT Watch, what you can do is incredible. You can check your line messages, SMS, you can even get the call. It's like an Apple Watch for the blind people. We put a lot of efforts in design. And it only costs less than $359. We got a lot of design award because of our design work, and Stevie Wonder purchased it recently. We've been featured in more than 1,000 worldwide media, and we are dealing with more than 20 countries right now. We got more than 90,000 pre-orders, and we plan to ship 30,000 of them this year. That's worth $10 million of the dollars. We started sales in the US right now, in China, Japan really soon. That's why I'm here. But we are not stopped here. We want to create more innovations. So with our technology, we can make the first iPad for the blind people. It can display graphics. It was not possible until now. And we believe this will change the life of the blind people and education of them. We are working with Google to develop this device. And this is the prototype. Recently we made it. Korean students, blind students in Korea, are studying with it right now. And we got a question from India. We have 10 million blind people. And can you make more affordable device? So we said yes. We can just use our technology to make a Kindle. We call it DOT Mini for education. It only costs $200, and we believe more than million units in 2 years it will be consumed by Indian governments. And next project, our biggest project is called .public. Right now, everyone like talking about smart cities, but no one actually focus on the disabled people. It's not accessible all the time. For example, like Osaka Station, it's not accessible. So we created the solutions exclusively for this. And recently, Dubai governments want to make a smart city, and we put our effort on it. We made the first, most accessible kiosk exclusive for them. Sign languages are up there, and our Braille sign is up there, so blind people, deaf people, elderly people can access it. And with our invention, with our technology, navigation block for the disabled people become active, so that blind people can know exactly where they need to go. And this technology is very helpful for elderly people and even foreigners. We already put our first dot kiosk in Pyeongchang Olympics, and we expect to put it in Tokyo Olympics too. This technology can go anywhere that needs equality. Our market is equality, not demand. It also goes with the law. 3 years ago, Japan registered a law that help disabled people. That will go with the law. So we are changing their lives. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric and Dot. Let's go over to the judges for your question.
It's okay now, right? Well, so I think this is the world first Braille device, right? And then, but when you make something for the first time and you don't have any market and you really do not know if you can sell this device or not, why did you decide, or how did you get the conviction of going into this market? What kind of test marketing or what kind of research did you do?
Well, I had 3 software startups when I was studying the University of Washington, and it was all like trendy startups. And I realized that like the passions comes from like real demand and life-changing products. So I realized this market and the problems. For 20 years, no one actually mass-produced it. Like universities and research firms did a lot of work to make an idea, but no one actually become an Uber, no one actually become an Airbnb in this market. This market is extremely niche market. It's kind of small, but it's more than 280 million people live there. So we plan to ship like 30,000 units this year, and that's only 0.0003% of the market that we are going into, the 9 countries. So I think there should be a lot of startups need to evolve like in this field that actually change the life of the people, not just like, big market. This is a market that startup can survive also.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric and Dot. The Paralympics are also coming to Tokyo in 2020, so we hope we can see your technology there. Next up, we have Sergey Shayamertov from Protectique.
Minasan konnichiwa. Hajimashite, Shaykhmetov Sergey Tomoshimasu. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sergey Shaykhmetov. I'm the CEO of Protectique, the world's first peer-to-peer critical illness insurance platform, specifically designed for the bottom of pyramid. 60% of cancer cases occur in the developing world where the cost of effective care is outside of the reach of millions. I traveled a lot from Brazil to Cambodia and everywhere because I'm unsure. I'm asked local people, what you will do if you got a cancer? And they answer, nothing. I'm just going to die. Well, conventional insurance policies are expensive, have complex conditions to join. The claim process is dangerous slow. I think we must resolve it. So we decided to use the share economy model to make it simple and cheap to join. Protectic takes just a small fixed fee for the operating peer-to-peer insurance fund. A member can enroll as little as $20 per year, which is 30 times cheaper than conventional policies. We take full control of policy and response workflow by using blockchain. The diagnosis confirmed by independent oncology consultants immediately triggers payment from blockchain to the relevant clinic or logistic providers. By applying blockchain, we provide transparency and trust for all parties, minimize risk of fraud, and ensure fastest possible treatment response time. The blockchain will hold the membership's annual subscription in smart contract and the identity of each member. For individual clients, main sales channels will be through the internet or via mobile operators or banking applications. And we focus it on the corporate clients, targeting oil and gas and mining transport companies with low qualified workforce. At Protect, we want to reach everyone, and we realize that even $20 per year is beyond the budget of many people on the lowest rank or the ladder. So our first step will to implement charitable insurance. With blockchain transparency, donors can confirm identity of recipients as well. We see the bright future of Protectic, given the unique position bridging the gap between medical tourism and health insurance. So its social good is based on the key Buddhist principle to be kind to all living creatures in the world. Plus to that, we have a strong business model based on best-in-class insurance statistics. What we have achieved, we have a partnership with the Sberbank Life Insurance, with Russian Healthcare Ministry, and we have negotiations with some biggest companies in the world. It's how our MVP looks like. What I want to add that it is just a first step of our ecosystem, and we want to add additional medical products and insurance products. As you can see, the team behind me have decades of experience in insurance, developing both new ventures, IT, and blockchain. But what unites us is a single desire to change the lives of billions of people worldwide, and with your support, we will. Thank you very much, and it will be a short video. Yeah.
Every year, over 14 million people in the world are diagnosed with cancer. Out of them, 8 million come from Africa, Asia, India, Middle East, CIS, and other developing countries, where most people still suffer from the lack of oncological treatments. They used to be doomed, men, women, children, but now there is hope. Introducing Protectic, a peer-to-peer blockchain insurance platform that makes the treatment of oncological diseases affordable for millions of people from the developing world. The share economy approach makes people unite in order to save each other's lives. Blockchain technology ensures complete transparency and trust. Protectic takes a fixed operating fee and is not interested in excess profits. Thanks to this, the participants pay only small annual premiums, starting from $20, which is many times less than the cost of a regular critical illness insurance products with the same level of coverage. This contribution can be paid by an employer or charity funds. The insurance cover is up to $35,000 US, an amount sufficient to treat most oncological diseases. The diagnosis is confirmed by an independent consortium of doctors and by artificial intelligence in the future. After that, an optimal clinic is chosen for the patient in one of our destination countries. We will organize all treatment and rehabilitation, including travel to and from the clinic. Protectic is just the first step to build P2P insurance and healthcare ecosystems for developing countries, the most promising project of digital insurance of the near future. Join us. Protectic. Assurance should be affordable for everyone. Let's make it happen together.
Okay, let's hand it over to the judges for your question.
Cool stuff. Can you explain the economics behind it? So I get $20, $35,000. So if you can explain how that actually P2P element comes in here, interacts with the insurance company.
Actually, we base it on the classical statistic methods. So in average case occurs for the 1,000 to 3,000 people. So we're collecting $20, multiply for 3,000, and so we can then share all this money for one case. So it's the same economics like a normal insurance, but we not split excess money for using. And also we reduce a little fraud and less operation costs.
All right, that's our one question. Thank you very much, Sergey and ProTech. There's so many great ways to use blockchain besides Bitcoin. It's nice to see some other technology. Next, let's go to Iris Hermon, our last speaker with Carbine. Thank you. Let's welcome her.
Hi, everyone. My name is Iris. I'm the VP Marketing for Carbine. Carbine is a real-time emergency communication platform. We were established a little over 4 years ago in order to change the way people communicate with emergency services. It actually all started with a real true story. Our founder and CEO, Amir Alichai, was robbed in the middle of a beach in Tel Aviv. So he called the police and they started asking him so many questions, a protocol of questions. Where are you exactly? What happened? What do you see around you? 5 minutes passed by and he's still on the phone with them. So he thought to himself, how is it possible that in today's 21st century, when you can get anything and everything through your location with a click of a button, how is it possible that you can't take care of your own safety? That's how Carbine was born. The public safety industry is actually a very, very old-fashioned industry. It hasn't been touched in decades. The truth is that if you call an emergency center today, you can find yourself talking to them. An average call will be around 3.5 or 4 minutes. There is no location, obviously, and most of the time you're indoors. There is no visual because you're calling on your phone. There is no prioritization. It's first in, first out. And there are about between 60 and 80% of false calls entering a call center, so an emergency center. Can you imagine how many minutes are passing by with irrelevant calls while people with emergency on the other line are waiting? Most of the calls are on TDM lines, and there is no, and our calls are IP. So we realized that really we need to take this industry and digitalize it and take it to the next level. So that's what Carbine developed, a full ecosystem end to end, from the end users through a strong infrastructure, all the way to the home center, to the emergency centers, providing each and every one with solutions to support and enjoy our technology. So the end user, what does he have? With our technology, you can call an emergency center, a regular call, and we will be able to transform this regular call into a Carbine call and automatically turn your report with a live video streaming and your exact location so we know what's going on. If you're an end user, you can also call a report through our mobile app. You just press and you select a responder and automatically live video streaming is starting. We have other additional smart devices, smart homes. We are trying to create more channels for the end users to report directly to the home centers, to the emergency centers. Now, on the other side, we provide products for the emergency centers to collect this rich data from the people. We have the C-Events platform. This is what they see. They have an option to see all reports entering the system at any given time. They have the option to prioritize. So if there's a real emergency going on, they will push it and take care of it, create a much more efficient operation inside their emergency center. This is what the call taker sees once you make a report. He sees exactly who you are, your full profile, where's your exact location. He gets a full live video of the event while you're reporting. So we're not talking about 3.5, 4 minutes anymore. We're talking about 40, 50 seconds. This is time that can actually help save lives. Our C-Reports is our CRM platform. We have an SDK. We developed the option for people to implement our technology into their own, whether it's apps or other products, to allow people to enjoy this safety button. And today we started exactly a year ago to operate our technology all over. We have pilots all over, pilot systems all over the world. We are live in Israel. We are live in Europe. The city of Nice is the last city that just took our services. We're very proud of that. We have great results from the last year. We're cutting down on false calls. We're cutting down on dispatch time. We are here to change the way and shape the future of public safety. We touch people at their most vulnerable moment when they need help, and I can tell you truly that we are here to help save lives, and we do it each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iris and Carvine. Let's go to your final question of the day.
Just for, because I'm very curious, because sometimes when we see the government reaction to emergency, sometimes disclosing all the information, right time information might not be the best solution. Sometimes we need to manage the information that we disclose. So how would you react to that?
I can promise you the entire privacy issue is very, very delicate, and whatever information is revealed is between the person reporting and the emergency center. This is nothing used before. We definitely don't take this information. We don't hold it. It's something that is between them, and you know what? Information is the key factor here. The more information you have, the better you can act, the more accurate you can give help, and it costs on time, and what can we do? Information is everything these days.
Thank you.
All right, let's thank our final speaker with a warm round of applause. 70% reduction in false calls. It's a great example of how technology is literally saving lives right now. So now our judges have some important decision-making to do. So we're going to give them some time to think. We also have done a world's first right now. Our pitch competition has not only ended on time, we've ended a little early, thanks for our one-question rule. So we're going to take a little break. We have our next talk coming up at 5:25 p.m., so you guys got about 25 minutes or so to take some time off, and that'll give our judges plenty of time to discuss and make their difficult decisions. So please come back. Next session will start at 5:25 p.m. Thank you.
Hello, 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 hello. Long time no see. Did you miss me? I missed you all, I missed you all. Welcome back. I hope you had a nice break. Is everybody refreshed? I hope so. You've got lots of energy. Yes, I hope so. All the energy seems to be in this corner right now. Have you all got energy in the middle as well? I hope so. I hope we have a little bit of caffeine in us. So I would like to introduce our next guest speaker. Hey, welcome back, or latecomers. So now I would like to introduce Mr. Akinori Takahagi, and he's going to talk about how he established his company after participating in Osaka City's Mono App Hackathon and the Silicon Valley Tour. So let's make him feel very, very welcome as we bring him onto the stage. Akinori-san, よろしくお願いします。
どうもありがとうございます。
Hi, my name is Aki. I'm CEO and co-founder of Moff. Let me introduce myself. So I was born in Osaka, and I'm a graduate from Osaka elementary school, junior high school, and high school. And my mother and my father are from Osaka. So I'm really love Osaka. And as she mentioned before, thanks to Osaka Innovation Hub, I can create and I can develop my own service and also my own startup. Let me talk a little bit about my own company. The name is Moff Inc. And originally, we are a gaming startup, especially for kids. We already launched Moff Sounds and PBS Kids application and Bandai Namco Entertainment application. And we developed our own original wearable, Moff Band. So we develop many services, but we use this wearable Moff Band. And now, our business is mainly for healthcare sectors, especially elderly care service and rehabilitation sectors. And the third part is research tools, especially for motion capture tools for universities or researchers. So this is our current status of our company. So let me share my startup story. The beginning is January 2013. It was a Monopoly hackathon. It's a kind of IoT hackathon. Only 2 days develop a new IoT service. Not only hardware, but also a software and backend. So in this event, I can meet good members. It was a first time meeting, but we developed a good prototyping. And next stage is March 2013. It was a Silicon Valley tour given by Osaka Innovation Hub. For me, this is my first time to visit the Silicon Valley, but it was so exciting because I was able to make a pitch in front of many investors from Silicon Valley. I made a pitch about a prototype we developed in hackathon. And at that time, it was a good experience. So maybe you know Crunchbase. So in this pitch event, CEO of president of Crunchbase visit this pitch event, and he gave me a good feedback. He said, this will be a huge opportunities. So he said, you should keep on developing. So we are so motivated because he is a famous person, and also he knows a Silicon Valley area, and he said, you should keep on developing. So after a Silicon Valley tour, we developed our prototype. At that time, I worked for other companies, and only Saturday or Sunday, so in the friend's house, we developed a prototype, software and hardware. And then we can have a Kickstarter project, 2014, April. Before our Kickstarter campaign, I was so nervous because at that time, Japanese hardware Kickstarter project, very small successful samples. So some investors said, you should not have a Kickstarter project because it's too risky. But I wanted to try because I was motivated by Matt Kaufman, CEO of Crunchbase in the Silicon Valley. And we had a Kickstarter project. Luckily, we succeeded in a Kickstarter project. We reached our goal only within 2 days. And many media covered us, such as TechCrunch and Engadget, and many US people preached us. It was a good success for us. And this is a concept movie when we have a Kickstarter project. The concept is a wearable smart toy. Everything you do, everything you hold, change into toys. And this one is a PBS Kids Party. After a Kickstarter project, we collaborate with PBS. PBS is the #1 educational brand in the US. And also after PBS Kids Party, we collaborate with the Bandai Namco Entertainment.
The beginning of the game,
and we develop a Pac-Man Moff.
And down, right and left.
Using a Moff gun, kids can enjoy active play. After a Kickstarter campaign, we launched in the market November 2014. And luckily again, we ranked first position. Amazon USA and Amazon Japan in the toy sector. So it was an exciting time because I wanted to make a business not only in Japan but also US. So these are our educational or gaming sectors. At the same time, we did a proving test, a pilot test for our new healthcare service. We collaborate with many universities, such as Kansai University associate professors, Tokyo University professors, and also Nara Kenritsu Ika Daigaku. We did many pilot tests. It was a long journey. It's different from toy sectors. In healthcare sectors, we need evidence. So we did almost 1.5 years we did. It's a long time for a startup. We need cash, and time. But we believe healthcare sector will be important for our wearable. And why healthcare sector is important? We focus on rehabilitation sectors. And why IoT rehabilitation is important in Japan? Because, as you know, Japan is facing a super aging society. And the number of long-term care need is increased. And self-independence is so important. However, the resources of rehabilitation are limited because in the medical insurance system in Japan, the time for rehabilitation is limited. Only 30 minutes per day or 40 minutes per day given by a physical therapist or occupational therapist. So the number of physical therapists and the occupational therapists is small, and also the time of rehabilitation is limited. That's why we want to increase the opportunities of rehabilitation, not only a hospital, but also elderly care facilities. And then we develop a rehabilitation assessment tool. It's called Moff. This Moff can assess walking, balancing in an easy way. So this is an application. Wearing a Moff band, back and leg. So we can analyze balancing and the height of leg at the same time. And also wearing a Moff band, wrist and arm, Moff can assess a limb, upper limb motion. It's an occupational therapist area. This product is already used in many hospitals. And the next, our IoT rehabilitation product is Moff. Moff is an IoT rehabilitation product. This product can offer a rehabilitation opportunity even if the facilities and hospitals doesn't have experts such as a physical therapist and occupational therapist. These are Moff is used in day services. It's a picture. And please watch demonstration movie. So wearing a Moff band, so Moff band can analyze and track how good your training or rehabilitation. And sound is very important. Maybe Japanese knows this is very popular song for elderly. Hikawa Kiyoshi. So for rehabilitation, fun and entertainment is very important because elderly don't want rehabilitation because it's bothersome. But we gave entertainment to rehabilitation because we have a good asset by our gaming sector. So we disrupt our rehabilitation sector using not only IoT technology, but also a gaming technology. And next one is activity daily living training. It's a training about washing hairs. So elderly do washing hair training along with application. And Moff band track how good you're washing hair. And we have a good effectiveness. So cognitive test scores is high. So it's through a proving test. Cognitive scores and range of motion is recovered. And Moff and Moff, we have a good project with Osaka City. One is Moff was used at a care prevention event in Osaka last October. And Moff is now in the pilot test in the Osaka Roken Kyokai, supported by Osaka iRobo Network Forum. So I think Osaka City gave us a good opportunity to it at this moment. But Osaka City facing a super aging society. And I think Osaka City needs innovation for elderly care. So now from our side, I'd like to introduce an innovative approach for the Osaka City. I think it's a gift and 恩返しです。恩返し for Osaka City. So thank you for your cooperation, and I'd like to create a new smart city for elderly care with Osaka City. ありがとうございました。
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Ooh. Hey, how exciting. We've reached this point of the day.
I'm excited.
I'm excited
Are you
too.
guys excited?
Are you?
Come on, a little more.
Exactly.
This
we need some
is
energy.
what we've been waiting for.
I know. The grand prizes. Oh
Prizes.
my goodness. Yes.
Who
the
doesn't
award
love
ceremony.
prizes?
Who doesn't like prizes? We love prizes. So yes, Hack Osaka 2018, we finally reached this point. So we'd like to announce the prize winners. Are you ready? You've got everybody's name?
I'm ready. I got
You ready?
the top secret document right here.
I know, he's got bodyguards outside there, I tell you, really. So we're going to start with the bronze.
The bronze
We're going to start with the bronze award. And so the winner of the bronze award will receive a travel ticket certificate to the value of 100,000 yen. Okay, fantastic. Have you got the name? Oh, we need a drum roll.
Ready,
Drum
but
roll.
yeah, I need something.
Drum roll.
Come on now. All right, our bronze prize winner goes to Iris Hermon from Carbine.
Woo!
Please come up on stage.
Congratulations. Congratulations, well done. I'm going to shift over here.
Let's keep the applause going. Keep the energy.
Fantastic.
And one more. Don't collect your travel.
Yes, don't go without that,
You
or I'll
can't
take
come
it.
back without it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. If we could step back over there, we're going to take a picture afterwards with everyone. So we're going to bring them up.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually,
Ready?
Diane.
Yes, sir.
Today has been a special moment. It's been so close that today we have 2 bronze prizes.
Two bronze prize winners.
2 bronze prize
That
winners.
never happens.
And the next one is Harumi Shiode from Nature Remo. Please come up on stage.
Fantastic.
Take that jacket off so we can see your company's shirt. So Harumi is already in Japan, so unfortunately we don't have a trophy today, but we're going to make sure you get a trophy later. We're going to be hand-delivered to you. So let's give him a big round of applause. How about a hearty handshake?
Congratulations. Fantastic.
And we can take a shared photo. Can we get a shared
Look
photo?
at that.
Teamwork.
It's like the
Osaka
Olympics.
International, bringing everyone together.
Exactly. It's like we have our own Olympics here
It's
today.
beautiful.
Yeah, there you go. That makes me
Speaking
happy.
of Olympics.
So good. Yeah.
Silver.
Yeah. Silver, there we go. Yes, I almost forgot. Look, so excited. Okay, so our silver prize winner will receive a travel ticket certificate for 200,000 yen. 200,000.
Ooh,
okay.
that's right. Ooh.
Woohoo. Are you ready?
I
We
need
a drum roll.
inspiration.
Yeah, we need a drum roll.
Let's go. Drum roll, please. Our silver prize winner is Tanya Suarez from iControl.
Woo-hoo!
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Fantastic. Don't forget.
No, come on.
Yes.
You guys got to get your travels.
Anything you don't take now goes in my pocket. So there you go. Be careful. Congratulations. Oh!
Okay.
This brings us up to a very exciting moment.
Do we need a commercial break?
I think we can just go right through.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Don't break it up. All righty. So our gold prize winner will receive a travel ticket certificate for 300,000 yen.
It's a
Where should we
good
go?
time.
It is. Okay, we need a drum roll.
Drum roll, please. Our gold prize winner for Hack Osaka 2018, keep the drum roll going, is Eric Kim from DOT. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Eric and DOT. Collect your trophy.
Fantastic. Nice.
Travel,
Fabulous.
travel,
Yes,
travel,
don't forget.
travel.
I told you where that's going to go. Yes. Okay, so a huge thank you to everybody for their fantastic pictures. Perfect. And congratulations to all your winners. And there are no losers. Everybody's a winner. So you had a chance up on the stage. It was fantastic to see all the presentations.
Let's get another round of applause for all of our
all
participants.
Of our winners. Yes, exactly. Okay, and it brings us almost to the end, but not quite, because we do want to take some photographs.
Capture the moment.
Capture the moment. So we're going to have everybody come up on the stage. We're going to have presenters, speakers, and judges.
What about the audience?
I don't know if we're going to fit. Yeah,
Okay.
We'll do that later. Yeah. So everybody, are you okay? Fix your makeup and all good? All good. Okay, so everybody who has been involved there, thank you. As I say, we're going to have the presenters, speakers, and judges up on stage.
All right, this is also your Kodak moment. If you guys would like to grab a
So
photo,
it
please
is.
come up.
I don't know, will you fit in one line? I'm not sure. Shall we nip over this side?
Our official photographer.
Yeah? 2 rows. Winners at the front. And the people behind, bunny rabbits. No, don't do it.
With my hair, they won't.
Yep.
Some of the presenters on this side.
Yep.
Competitors all up in front. The short winners in the middle.
The shot. Look at that. Look at
It's okay to come forward and grab that photo if you'd like. Also a good time to get a nice shot of the Hack Osaka sign.
I know.
Been compared to the Hollywood sign, I've heard.
Oh, it's very, very similar.
Yes, it used to
very
be
similar.
on the Hitachi Tower.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make sure you're not behind the H. Are you okay? Maybe are you okay?
We're waiting for our official photographer.
Yep.
He's there.
Everybody there? Oh, oh, me?
You're official.
Everybody ready? Yes? Wait a minute,
Wait,
sorry.
here we go, yes! Okay, can we smile now?
Anybody else coming up?
All right,
Okay.
we're ready to smile, everyone. Go!
Yay! Is it one more?
All right, thank you very much. That was an amazing photo session.
Fantastic. Congratulations, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Ooh. Thank you very much. Well done, well done. So I hope that all of you enjoyed the sessions. Thank you. Did you all enjoy today? Yes? And I'm sure we're all going to go away feeling extremely inspired, ready to come back next year and fight for that trophy. So Osaka City will continue to be involved in activities to support global innovation. And now we are all members of that team, the Global Innovation Team. So we look forward to seeing you all at other events and hopefully back here again next year. So take away your knowledge and improve on it. And we will, this brings us to the end, but we will be having a networking party, a little party on the first floor. Okay, so that will be in a Stockholm cafe and dining, which is 2 floors up on the first floor. It's in the corner. And unfortunately, only participants, paid participants, registered participants will be allowed to join the party, so please bear that in mind. Also, if you filled out your questionnaire paper, can you hand it to the staff on your way out? And don't forget your translation headsets. Please hand them back to the Hack Osaka staff. So I hope to see you all upstairs in Stockholm Cafe for a little toriaiza no biru, a little kampai, a little drinky poos. So thank you so much to everybody for coming today. I know you're all really busy, but it's fantastic to see you. And hope to see you all again next time. Thank you.
All right, but we do have some closing remarks from Yoshikawa-san. Please come up on stage.
Can I speak out something?
We're all excited to network, but we do want to hear from you.
Okay, I would like to show our gratitude to these supporters and sponsors. Without their help, we can have the conference. Thank you very much, all participants. And I'm pretty sure you've understood our serious commitment toward building a global entrepreneur network, as well as Open Innovation City. It is what we call Hack Osaka movement. And Hack Osaka is a movement to establish Open Innovation City Osaka, letting all players get together and to work together beyond all boundaries, such as position, title, organization, nationality. And also, the most important thing is that we are going to hold World Expo 2025. Yeah, this is kind of what I would like to say. And then we're going to present to the world that we're going to have an open innovation outdoor laboratory or living lab to get the general public involved with this Hack Osaka movement. We would like to hold a World Expo here and to mark great step forward to realization of Hack Osaka. Yeah, this is kind of a new design, okay? Okay, thank you very much, all of you. We would like to see you again and Hack Osaka 2019. Okay, see you.
Thank you.